Hey, Alex. Happy Monday, although it's posing as Tuesday. Welcome back, everybody, to Collider Live. It is the show that we do here on the weekdays to talk to you guys about what? Things. And what stuff. Things and stuff. That's the brand new name of the show. And the shirt, Things and Stuff. Welcome back, one and all. Joining us to talk about all of these wonderful things on the table, Roxy Stryer is in his
house.
Yeah, not his house, just the his.
Just the his. Hizzy.
Nice to see you.
His house.
I haven't seen you in a couple of days.
In a minute. Yeah.
New York minute.
Yeah.
That was 7 seconds of applause, Roxy. So you have 7 minutes and 53 seconds to equal the Joker.
Very nice.
Sorry.
I see what you did.
The other thing? Sure. The other thing that we're going to be talking to is Mark Riley.
The other thing we're going to be talking to.
Yeah.
Hi.
Nice to see
everybody.
you. How are you?
Good.
The vacationist man in all of town, Josh McCougar, jumping off of bridges into water. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
We
did some swimming, I see.
did. Yeah, did some swimming.
Feel
we
good?
went out to Big Bear. I thought the lake was going to be cold. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I lost my sunglasses.
You and I both did things that we haven't done in a long time.
Oh, yeah? What'd you do?
On Friday, we'll talk about it in a little bit. But you had been doing that for a long time. Thought it was going to be career.
What?
Swimming. Haven't done it. Don't like to do it normally because you want to get right back into it.
Correct.
I also did something that very similar.
Oh, I know. I saw
we'll
that picture.
talk about that. But,
I was going to text you, but I was like, I'm going to wait till live.
Yeah, because we're going to have to tell the whole story. Don't worry, we're going to talk about it. Don't
That's not what I was going to say.
What did you just say?
That's not what I was going to say.
You said it didn't sound like that. It went.
It's today going to be one of those. I'm too tired for
it. You'll be happy to know, and I'm very upset about this. You'll be happy to know that my youngest does not refer to herself as Mamie anymore. She actually says Maisie.
Oh.
She starts to say Maisie.
I am happy to know that.
Yeah,
Growing
I was
up.
like, "Where's Mamie?" And she's like, Maisie. I'm like, "Okay, fine." Cave woman.
Smarter. Much smarter.
Maisie.
Yeah, we are. Listen, there's a lot to talk about today. We're going to have a full show. I have a guy that used to do comedy with, John de Resta. He was in Miss Congeniality, and he was just this New York comic that I knew that out here, and I hadn't seen him. My wife randomly ran into him because he makes furniture and stuff too. Mm-hmm. So she ran into him, and then we were just talking. I was like, "Dude, you should come on." And he is a character.
Yeah.
Dude.
He's in New York. He was a former cop, now a comic. His last name's de Resta.
So
what happens?
Character.
You slide in the DMs, or your wife
No. So I went to pick
home?
up the furniture. And I started talking to him, and he's kind of asking what I was doing, and I was like, you know what? He would be a real character to have on this show. I don't know what the audience will make of him. I have no idea. I really don't. And I don't know if it'll be the last time we're ever on the air after he's on. No filter. No filter.
Well, he's from New York.
No,
it's like 99% of people.
No filter. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
But we will be talking to him around 11. But speaking of New York, man, what a time we had. What a time we had. It was a good show. It was, everything about it. Thursday, I love that JetBlue. I have to tell you.
Yeah.
I love JetBlue. I sat on that thing because of DirecTV, and I watched the last hour of Endgame. And then I watched Endgame all the way through on the way back, but I watched an hour of it, and then I just checked my emails, did everything I could.
Yeah, they have free Wi-Fi. Fly-Fi.
Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it.
Most of them do now.
No,
Southwest does, Delta
American
does.
makes you pay like $25.
Don't even bring an American into this conversation. It's
and on the flight to Hawaii, American didn't even offer it.
No.
And I was just, I had to smell turkey farts from the kid behind me. So, but no turkey farts on this one. Although the guy on the way back, very nice gentleman, really stinky eggs. He brings on eggs, and I didn't even try to hide it. I bought a Yankee sweatshirt and just stuck the thing on my nose.
Yeah.
He brought eggs onto the airplane.
Yeah, it was bad.
I've only done it the one time.
Yeah. I had a sandwich. I had a good sandwich. Boar's Head sandwich that I ate on the plane.
Yeah, but it doesn't stink like eggs.
No, it smells delicious.
I remember, I think I like...
Sorry. You know what it is? He tested his mic right before he said fine, and it's low again.
Well, I was trying to find a nice way, and I talked right over Josh. Josh, I apologize.
No, what were you saying? Go ahead.
I was going to say there was a mother and father to my left on the plane home, and full on changing the baby's diaper right there in the seat.
Christian, we were on the same flight. I tried to say hi to you multiple times. You were not
really?
having it. Yes.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
and,
not me.
and no.
Oh, okay.
That baby was legitimately screaming for all 6 hours.
Yeah, right next to us. It was,
Right next to you.
Yeah.
That is
Amber,
the worst.
Amber, my girlfriend, she said that was the absolute worst flight I've ever been on.
It was
That's birth control.
It was brutal. It was 2 babies on the flight, and
Battle
one
yelling.
was setting. Yeah, they were battle yelling,
That's not
and
good.
neither one.
Not good
We
stuff.
all lost.
Not
It
good
was
stuff.
it was so rough.
Yeah.
I put on my big headphones and it did nothing.
Didn't do nothing.
Like my big noise canceling beats. I could
Well,
hear everything.
The good news is I didn't have to deal with any of that. I was fine. On the way there, it was good. On the way back, it was good. I had a really nice flight, and it was nice. But this is my favorite part of the whole flight. So I will say, and great fan of the show, John Mariano,
Yeah, great
and the
dude.
kids show up, right? So John is just a super fan. We hooked
the
him up. We
nicest
hooked
guy.
up him and his family with VIP tickets, right? So he's like, let me do something for you guys. I want to, and he picked up some of the crew and he drove them to the hotel and stuff. It was really sweet for him to do it, right? So Megan, who runs Megan again, who is
The legend.
She's a legend. She runs all
love her.
the VIP stuff at the live events. She writes me and she handles all the travel, and she writes me on the plane as I'm checking my Wi-Fi, my emails through the Wi-Fi, and I see, hey, so this guy's going to pick you up. I didn't know. I was going to take a cab. He's going to pick you up. He wants to pick you up. I'm like, all right, that sounds cool. Why not? You know, maybe I'll meet those kids because they're sweethearts. And then I get another email. You in town? And I'm like, almost. Well, I'm here by myself. And I'm like, well, Dagnino, obviously.
Yeah.
So I write him back. I'm like, well, I'm not. He's like, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing yet. He's like, I'll pick you up. And I'm like, this guy's bored out of his fucking mind. If he's
You're gonna
offering
get
to
into
pick me up.
trouble here.
So he's like, I want to go to the Met game. I'm like, let's go to the Met game. Screw it. So I write back, man. I said, tell John, thank you very much. I'm going to go. I'm going to get into, go with Tom. 4:30, 4:45. I flew out with Brett, which is amazing. We had some breakfast in the morning. Brett did his thing, stayed with his sister in Brooklyn. But Tom picks me up, and we have a lot of time to kill because I'm saying I want to go. I've never been in the new City Field in Shea, and I'm a Yankee fan, but I was like the Yankees weren't they weren't playing, couldn't go. So we're driving through Queens, and I was gonna go tomorrow. I was originally supposed to go to VIP with McCoog if he was there, my pizza place that I love so much. So I asked Tom, "You want to go?" He's like, "We got time?" I was like, "I think we got time." Like, let's do it. So we go, and
we'll figure it out.
And we get it out.
What's your confused look?
Nothing yet.
Just the noise. I don't understand
I
where it
heard
was
it
coming
too.
from.
Yeah.
It
What
sounded like
noise?
it was somebody in this room. You guys missed that?
No, yeah, I missed it.
Someone sneezed.
Oh,
It
In
was just a little too loud.
in where?
power sneeze.
God.
Sounds like a roca.
Keep going.
God sneeze.
So we get to the place where we sit down. We go inside first because Barstool had just done the review on it and everything. So we get there.
Did that
we're
mean it was
talking to-
busier?
No, it wasn't busy. It was the same, but it was just we didn't know what to expect going in there, right? And we talked to the owner's son. Now, I guess he's kind of running the shop. Sweet kid, really nice
Jeff,
guy.
John,
Don't remember his
Jordan,
name.
Jeremy,
Don't remember
Thomas,
his name. Don't remember his
Close.
name.
Timothy.
No,
You got there.
Mike.
no.
Matt.
It's probably closer to Joey or something.
Okay.
But we get there. I
Italian.
tell Tom, this is my favorite part of the whole thing. I go, you got to get a Sicilian slice. I don't do Sicilian. I'm like, you got to do Sicilian. I don't like that. I go, I normally don't like that. I don't like Sicilian slices. I don't ever order them. But VIP, it's a must. All right. So he sits down. We get it. And I go, what'd you think? He's like, this is a good move. This is the move. He's like, yeah. He's like, no, he's the best Sicilian I've ever had. I was like, yeah, I know. So we just fire it down, get to the Met game. City Field, by the way. Wow.
Dope.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Because the new Yankee Stadium, it kind of sucks.
Really?
But, yeah.
I haven't been.
The new City Field
It's
is awesome.
Dude, it's gorgeous. 'Cause
Why do you think the new Yankee Stadium kind of sucks?
It was set up. It was built wrong. It was built poorly, and every Yankee fan will tell you the exact same thing.
That's funny. I went there and I had no.
You liked it?
Yeah, but I guess I didn't know what to look for.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I like getting drunk and watching baseball. So
As compared
like,
to old Yankee Stadium, which had like an air to. I mean, it's old Yankee Stadium. I mean, it has the
Well,
history.
Shea did too. Shea was a dump.
Shea was a dump.
But it had history to it.
New Yankee Stadium, there are parts of the outfield where you can't see parts of the field.
No, really.
It's
Well,
poorly set up there. It's just not. It wasn't built well to watch baseball.
we splurged and we said screw it. We went on StubHub and we got nice tickets right on city level. But this was the biggest disaster of the night. We get there and this woman, she goes, guys, don't go up and order from out there. I got it taken care of. I'll order you order from me and I'll.
She works there?
She works
She's
there. Yeah,
waitress,
she's
yeah.
taking all the. So this whole section. So she's ordering. Yeah, we literally go 2 Stellas is what we ordered. 2 Stellas. It's like 45 minutes later, right? No. So, and everybody, it's like a riot about to break out in the stands because like they were sending. We were on like the third baseline. They were sending it over to the first baseline, and then their computer system break down, and Tom goes, "She's having a bad day." Right? So, but then I posted this video, which I think you might have seen it.
I've watched it a few times.
It's the best.
Oh, that guy's the best.
So what happens is right next to us is they were playing the Cubs. So the Cubs fans are off to the side, and the Cubs themselves are throwing the balls into the Cubs section, which is what they do.
Sense.
So this one guy, he must have been 16, 17 years old, right? Maybe even 19. I don't fucking know. Catches the ball and he gets it. So then the Cubs throw it again. 2 innings later, kid catches it again.
Same guy.
Keeps it. And so this big New York guy, goes, give it to a kid. Give it to a fucking kid. And he's like, what are you doing? Hey, screaming at him, right? And then the best part of it.
What's your opinion on that?
I'll tell you in a second. But what I didn't catch on video because I thought too late is, you dirtbag. He calls him a dirtbag, right?
Yes.
So then he gets up and then I'm like, I am taping this.
Yeah.
So then you'll see it on my I think I have it on Instagram and on Twitter. And he goes up and he starts yelling, give it to the kid. Like just throwing his arm up. And then all the other Cubs fans start yelling at him. He's screaming at him. He's like, come on, yelling. And then he goes back and he goes, it's called Second City for a reason.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And then I'm looking at him, and then I went Collider Live on him for a second, and I go, tell us what's happening. What's going on right now? He's like, he caught 2 balls, and he should have given one. I go, he should have given one to the kid. He goes, he should have given one to the kid. And then so he's screaming and yelling, and and everybody starts booing the guy, and it was amazing, right? So what's my opinion on it? I think he should have given one to the kid.
Yes.
Absolutely, he should have. He's like, because there's
first one, give it to the kid or no?
No.
Second one.
Yeah, because the kid's 17 years old. He goes to a ball. But if you keep catching it.
Here's the thing.
Come on.
My dream is to catch a foul ball. I don't want to keep that foul ball. I just want to have that thing of like,
depends
I
what
caught
game it is.
the
Depends
foul
on what game
ball.
it is.
Yeah, well, yeah. If it's like the World Series,
or if it's like someone's like monumental home run or something.
Yeah, of course. But like if I'm on the first base side and it's the second inning of a regular season Pirates game and I catch a foul ball, I'm like, I did it, and then I'm gonna hand it to the closest youth around.
2 youths.
2 youths.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't want to call anybody out right now, but I'm just gonna and not use the person's name. I have recently become aware that AC can come through this studio, and they just do not put it on when we're in here.
Is that true?
Yes. I have recently, acquired this information.
I don't know.
Because of all the reasons that you would think, Christian.
In the picture with Alexandra Daddario and Tyler Hoechlin, she had to edit it out.
You're
sweating so hard in here.
Christian, is that true?
I feel actually ill right now. Are you guys at the level I am?
Say it again? What happened? I wasn't there for that
So,
one.
Roxy, go ahead.
I have recently learned that the AC can be put on in this room, and when we do this show, it is decided that it is not put on in this room.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything like that before. I don't know why anyone would put anyone through such hell.
know.
Is it possible then to turn it up as high as it goes?
Yeah.
I mean, we probably can. I don't know exactly like the full system. You know who knows
Who?
the AC very well? Steve Weintraub, Frosty. He knows AC.
Is he here? Oh, God, yes. Well done, sir.
Because
Well
he's
done.
frosted.
Anyway, so if that's, I don't know, we'll try to figure that out. Maybe I had no idea that was the thing. But anyway, the Mets lost, and I didn't care. But
Did you ever get your Stella?
we did. We wound up getting a couple. Though,
will
because they
say-
sent someone else. We did get the Stellas. We drank the Stellas. We met some nice people. It was funny because a couple fans came up to us and to take pictures, right? And these women in front were like, "Who the fuck are you guys?" And Tom
Such a New York thing.
Tom trying to explain like the Schmodown. Oh my God, marketing
Disaster.
it's so good. It's just like this thing we do. It's good. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Getting to the bottom of it there.
When I listen to Tom talk about the Schmodown, I'm intrigued, though.
Yeah.
I think that it might be
He
a
does
marketing
love it.
disaster.
When Tom
but
talks about anything, I am intrigued.
Yeah.
He loves it. He
Yeah.
does love it because he was talking about the whole thing.
he reps it hard.
Are you allowed to talk about? Do you want to talk about the Schmodown now? Because I would like to hear stories. But
We'll lead up to kind of the weekend itself and get there. We're not going to talk about the match results because
Yes.
it's not going live to the public until Thursday and Friday for both matches. So we'll wait on that. But we will say that what did we do when about going on Thursday night? Oh yeah, because Ben and Andrew did their show on Thursday night and it went really well
I'm so
for
glad
them.
you went.
It was at the Met game. And it was. Did you go?
No, I wasn't in town.
All right,
I wasn't there. I was in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I heard Will Forte
No.
did a video message, which is cool. Ben just texted me about it because he tagged me on a tweet because they were talking about MacGruber.
Yeah,
it's like the greatest movie of all
because he
time.
called Tom and myself like while we were in line at the Mets games. Like, you guys coming? We're like, I don't think so. Yeah. So we'll meet you guys afterwards. Because he's bummed. He wanted us to be there, and I get it. But we were.
At a baseball game. It's kind of funny though because so when Ben and I started dating, he was still working at.
You guys dated?
Yeah, a minute ago. He was still working at a bar, and he always would talk about like his friend Will.
Right.
They were always friendly.
I know
And
because
then
he's been on the Schmodown and this show so many times. Go ahead.
And finally, I pieced together that Will was Will Forte, and I was like, "Really? This is your friend?" And it was kind of like a running joke for a while because I'd never met him, whatever. Right. And then, like a year and a half later, we ran into Will at Comic-Con, and he saw Ben across the room, and like it was love. It fucking sprinted to him,
awesome.
like across the room of every single celebrity. He spotted Ben, came running over, and so I know that they had been thinking about doing this. But it's like always awkward to ask your friend to do something about what it is they do.
Right.
So I think he was probably really nervous about that. I was excited that Will did the video for them. It was awesome.
And I saw some of the pictures that they did. It seemed like in a little bit of video, and I mean because they had a lot of the Action Army. That came out and supported all three shows, man. They came out to Thursday, came out to Friday, came out to Saturday. But we go back and they did like karaoke. We just didn't wind up doing anything. I went back to the hotel, crashed, woke up, met my buddies. Oh, actually, Friday walked around with PJ and Frankie Numbers, and we walked. And we went down to Ground Zero.
Yeah.
You know, and
I saw that picture.
I saw that picture too. I was so glad you were able to do that.
Yeah. So for people that didn't know, I talked about it, I guess, on our one-on-one that we did. When I was growing up, and I was kind of an awkward kid. I was trying to figure out like. In general, who I was, you know, and my buddy Brian Cascia, who was a guy that kind of introduced me to George Carlin. Remember the first time I ever saw Terminator was at his place. He was the guy that he had Laserdisc before anybody else did. He had all these things.
That's 6 months of glorious Laserdiscness.
His dad owned at the time. This is like in the '80s. It was like having your own Blockbuster. Before Blockbuster popped, he had his own VHS store.
Oh shit!
So he had all the movies and everything too. So he was like my best friend, you know. And we got into trouble and stuff. And he in 2001. When he was on the 103rd tower when the first plane hit, and I had people take many pictures of his name, but I had never gone myself. So PJ,
because you hadn't been back, or because it's hard to muster up the strength to do it, or
a little column A, a little column B. But I think that we were and being there with the family and everything too. It just hadn't, and I was staying very close this time.
All those chips kind of aligned.
Yeah, and because we were walking there, and we had some lunch. We had a really little burger shop that was really nice, and we just found our way there, and we walked over, and I start walking around, and I'm looking, and I knew it was going to be emotional. I mean, obviously, but I'm walking around because there's two separate. Have you been down there?
Oh yeah, the last time we went to New York for the Schmodown, I made it a point to go down there, and it was. I mean, I was freezing cold, but I made it a point to go down because I hadn't been there since I lived in New York. And when I lived in New York, it was 2005, so 4 years after.
Right.
You took the path through the foundation of Ground Zero, like you saw where they just ripped up, with the World Trade Center.
Yeah, well,
but I haven't seen anything like that since.
I mean, so. There's two separate things where all the names are. So I start looking. And PJ and Frankie started looking. I told them my friend's name.
They were helping you try to find
look for the name. So we're walking through, and I knew it was going to be emotional once I found it, but I didn't realize how emotional just trying to find it. All of the names.
Yeah.
And it's just like and Christian and I were just talking
the Vietnam
about this
Wall,
before.
just like
but it's like a weird thing because there are some people who are there and they're looking at the names and they're whether sobbing or taking their moment. Then there's other people taking selfies and stuff too. It's like a tourist attraction. And I was like, that part I didn't like, but it is what it is. And I'm walking through, and I keep walking through, and I must have missed it, right? So we go to the other one, walk all the way through, and I'm just like, where is it? And we searched it, found out the plate. You can find out where the plate is, and we did. Had my moment, did the thing, walked out, left, had a really nice. Thing there. And again, PJ and Frankie are just the best, the two of those guys. And so we and then they left.
What do you do, Christian? You stand there and you think something in your head, or you say something out loud, or
no? I just had a couple more things that I said to him, and
in your head, you kind of think
things, and then PJ. I didn't post it. It was just for me. He took a nice picture of me, kind of just saying goodbye when I was there because I didn't have it. It was like being at his graveyard, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
So just to clarify, those selfies, like you didn't like the tone of that, but it's not pictures.
No. He took a picture of me from behind, like where I was just, and he sent it to me for my own personal thing.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
It's not like, hey, look at me sitting there saying goodbye to my friend. Like, but anyway, so that
I always think that's kind of weird too.
yeah,
actually.
that wasn't. He did that for me, just so I had the moment to send it to me, and I thought that was that was nice because now I have it. Plus, I wouldn't post it because my underwear was showing it. But I'm kidding. So
I can Facetune that out.
Yes,
I
please do. So then those guys take off. We leave, and I met my buddy John Pinto, my childhood friend. I've told him, Patty did this. I remember the guy. He was the one screaming at the bartender back in the day. Come on, Patty. And so John and I are drinking. He tells me some amazing stories that I unfortunately can't tell here, but they're great. And then Dagnino shows up, and having Pinto and Dagnino, it was like WWE legends from like 80s and 90s meeting, and having that, and this whole thing where like, let's walk, because Dagnino had walked he parked near the comedy club and then walked to us, and we said, well, let's walk back.
That's
so we did.
far, actually.
It was like half an hour. So Pinto decides that he wants to get an ice cream cone from Mr. Softy on the way. He's like, you got to have one for the summer, right? I'm like, I don't know about right now, right? He does, and as we're going, Pinto has this look on his face like, oh, right? And Dagnino goes, getting that ice cream probably not the best move, huh? and John goes, no, not at all.
There's nothing worse than having to walk far after you eat ice cream. That
full
ice
of
cream
sugar,
cramp,
no protein,
no.
So then we get to the comedy club. They got us a table. Roxy was there to meet us, and
on time.
Yeah. So what I was hoping was that we were going to get a table where we were last time. We're like 4 back, right in the front row.
Nice. Ellis has given me so much shit
in the front
about
row.
this. Oh my God.
Whose fucking phone?
The Angels.
Where'd that come from?
It was my front door.
Okay.
Someone's at my front door.
Are you gonna let them in?
What? No.
Someone's knocking at my door.
I thought that was a joke because they finally got the AC to play or to go, and
I
I
thought they had put
hitting
some
wind
chimes up. Yeah,
it was pretty loud.
That's when it's on.
I'm fucking dying. Like I can't.
All right, so you need to find out. You don't
wore a sweater in here today.
I'm in a fucking t-shirt and a skirt.
Listen, you don't need to say the name on air, but if you know who the name is when we get out of here, then you should go and.
It's that. It's 100% that. I know it is. He's like, oh yeah, we didn't turn
because
it
he
on.
was there
like,
when I
wait a
found
second.
out. Yeah,
There's AC in here. Like I freaked out too.
yeah, that's what happened. But then Josh and I kind of looked at each other and we're like, huh.
Okay, it's out there. So why can't we put it on?
Yes.
This is what happened. I don't know. We got in here to do TV talk, and it was nice and cold. And Thab was like, "Nice and cold in here. Good. I'm glad. Sorry that we didn't put the air on in there this morning, but we just turned it on, so it should be nice." That was the whole statement. I didn't address it with him. I just looked at Josh and realized
I didn't even.
Apparently, you can put AC.
I literally sweated through a blue shirt talking to Tyler Hecklin and Alexander Daddario, and then I take the picture and I like look at him like, oh my God, I look like Mark Ellis times 1,000 with the pit stains.
His sweat was at his belly button.
Belly button,
Right.
and it's dripped down. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that has deliberately done this. I am just saying that he knows it is being done.
Well, I don't know.
That's like when,
he's not like maliciously against air conditioning and us.
Dude, that's
I'm not
like
saying that.
Ghostbusters 2, where Egon puts on the air conditioning and monitors them through the window. We're being rats in a cage right now.
Why don't any of us know how to fix it?
I don't think we've ever tried.
I've tried.
Right, let's get back to
I
meeting you.
can't. Holy shit.
But why was Alice was giving you crap for being in the front
He was giving
row?
me so much crap. He was just like, I can't believe that you guys chose to do that. And I was like, no, we really, really didn't.
We did
We
not
asked for
choose
any
that.
other row. Like, we begged.
They said because we had 5 people, they had to put us in the front row.
You guys know that, obviously, I don't know specific comedians as well as you guys do, but I have pretty good etiquette at these things.
Yeah.
I know very much so that when my friends are performing, I'm not sitting in the effing front row.
I told the guys
Yeah,
much.
and you said the same thing.
I said we're part of the show, and like there's some of us who are comedians, so we can't sit in the front. Like if there's 5 people, you have to sit
in the front. He just kept saying it.
And I didn't want to give the guy shit because he was giving us table and he let us in early.
Yeah,
so
he just kept saying that, and so you were like, yeah, okay. But it was, we were very close to Ellis.
I mean, it was as close as I am to like Riley right
It's
now.
a tight club. I
It
mean,
is.
if you're in the front row, the stage is here, your face is here.
Yeah.
Which was a bigger issue because holy crap, were we with somebody who had the worst comedy club etiquette I've ever seen in my entire life. Pinto was a disaster. First of all, Pinto was on his phone in the front row, which Kristen was like, "Stop! No, seriously, stop!"
I go, no. And he goes, I got to take this. I go, not right here, you don't.
He said, no, I'm not kidding you. Stop it. Stop it.
Because he didn't know. He looked at me and he's like, but I can't. I go, not right here. I was like,
and then as Pinto got more intoxicated, Pinto thought that he could finish the jokes to me.
Oh, was he?
So when people were making jokes, he turned to me like, you know what I bet's going to happen here? And like would pitch the ends.
God, no.
Pitching punchlines?
But the funny thing is, he's funny.
He's very funny.
He's very funny.
Missed the jokes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I liked it because it was a different experience, but at some point I was like, you got to stop talking.
Oh, you told him that?
You got to stop talking. He was like laughing at it because sometimes he was pitching things, but sometimes he was just commenting like out loud on their jokes. Like, that was a funny one because, you know, when the, like, whatever it was.
He's just so not in the business.
No, so not. So it was innocent.
Dude.
I'm not mad at it because he was having the best time, but I was just like, you can't do what you're doing.
No, I know.
We're in the front row.
He's the best.
But I asked Ellis, and Ellis was like, I didn't see him on his phone. I didn't hear him once. I was like, okay, so then I don't care.
Yeah.
But we're bearing the lead.
Well, not yet, because we also. So I will say that the guy that hosted the show, because you guys weren't there, and I want to get his last name. Vince was his name.
McMahon.
It was not Vince McMahon. For a second, I go, oh, okay, McMahon. No, his name Vince Chang. Vince Chang, and
half Jamaican, half Chinese.
Yeah, dude, he was so likable.
Jamaican? Is that how you would say?
I guess he might have said that. I don't think
Chinese.
He should. Yeah, but he was so good, so funny, and he was just one of these guys that like just could get the audience. You just felt good watching him, right? It was a very similar to what you and Ken did, you know, to where it's like the energy was just up, and
he really didn't go into business for himself at all. He was
helping he was conducting like a host does and making sure that the energy was there. And then the woman who went up afterwards was very funny. I don't remember her name. Do you?
I was obsessed with her. No, I don't know, but she's on MTV. I don't know.
Camille Theobald.
Thought she had she's the best narrative.
It was so funny.
She told such a great story and connected from A to B that I just thought it was really good.
I love when people like legitimately let you into their life and how crazy it is. Yeah. And that's what's funny.
It was real.
Oh my God, I thought she was amazing.
But my favorite reaction was not that. It was right afterwards. And so Vince goes up and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, our next comedian, you've seen him on Collider Live." And Roxy grabs him and he goes, "Brett!" And I go, "Yeah." And I'm looking around the side, right? And he's like, "Yeah." So he does this, and he hosts Collider Live, and then Roxy's like, looks weird, and I look at her, and I go, "Oh, yeah."
Well, and he said, and he hosts, and he's part of Schmoes, and I was like, I guess. I mean,
right? Yeah, she didn't know what
was on the show.
She didn't know what was going on, and I start looking around, like looking on the side, and then he goes, "Christian Arloff," right? And I go, "Oh," and I like that, and I
walk. Pops up, but he doesn't even have to walk anywhere because he's at the stage.
I just rolled over, and got on the stage.
But he had told Pinto and Finstock and
because
Ellis and Brett, they all knew but me.
And the whole crowd didn't know.
But I'm your friend.
But the only reason Pinto and Dagnino knew is because it happened.
Did Ben know?
I knew too.
Okay.
You did
I
know?
knew too. Yeah, I guessed it.
Yo, you guessed it, but you weren't told.
No.
Yeah, I'm saying someone told someone ratted it down.
No.
So I was.
When would they have time to? You made the decision 5 minutes before you went on.
So Ellis texts me at the Mets game. Are you going to go up? And I go, nah. And he goes, puss. Right? And I go,
because you guys have been speaking about this previously.
He kept asking me if I was going to go to do a set in New York, and I said, nah, I'm not, because I contemplated doing it. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do it. So I don't know, for whatever reason, I was with the guys, Pinto and Dagnino, and I go, should I go up tonight? And they go, yeah, you should do it. I'm like, all right, I'll go write something. So I went up and I took a shower, right, and I started writing some jokes up top. And
what do you mean, in your head?
In my head. I started doing what I haven't been able to do in a long time, just recite stuff and do stuff and say, oh, that could work, that could work, that could work. And then I knew I had a half an hour to walk. So I started walking.
But weren't they talking your ear off?
Well, no, I started talking the air off about it. And I said it because there was one thing I was going to open with, and then I just came up with something else on the walk, and I go, open with that. So then I opened with that. But anyway, so I got up, and your face was my favorite thing of the whole night because it was...
It was like the rug had been pulled out for me so hard in the best way.
Yeah, and then she told me that we were at the after, and she was like, I went from being like so excited to so nervous.
I was flipping out because like, what do you? I mean, luckily you were awesome, but I was like, what if he bombs.
Right. Went through my head too.
Yeah, you were set up for success in a lot of ways. Obviously, you're in a room full of people who are obsessed with you. They know that you haven't been up for a really long time, but like
I knew I was going to get the pop up top.
Sure. Yeah, but then you crushed. It was so much fun. I mean, I was like, I kept telling Ellis after, my cheeks were in so much pain because I was dying having you and Brett and him. Like I felt like I was on cloud nine. So cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool because it was. I wish you guys would have been there. Yeah. I talked to Ken right before, because Ken, I guess, caught wind of it and texted me. Right, and
I didn't catch wind of it. Nobody told me.
Did you know until right now?
No, I saw the picture that he posted on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh shit, he went up."
Yeah,
and I wanted to, I texted Ellis, and I was like, "Who is better, Roca or Harloff?"
Nice,
definitely Harloff.
No, it was. I did, like I said, I probably a little over. I think they told me a little over 7.5. Okay, right, and I did, and so I did about 3.5. No, about 3 new. And then the rest of it, I retweaked some of my older stuff because I figured a lot of these people hadn't seen the older stuff too from back in the day, and I made it more relevant to the stuff that's going on with my life today. So it was fun. It was a good. The crowd was really cool.
Is this the beginning of more?
I have ideas that I was going to talk to you about afterwards.
Okay.
I got ideas, but
like the way even some of the stuff. Like, can I say one of the things you did or no?
Not the opening.
Not the opening.
Yeah.
It's not. It's an old one.
Oh,
an old thing. The samurai thing that you do.
Right.
But the way you got into it was different than I had seen before. So I thought that was really cool.
I made that more about my life today because I made it about the stupid the thing that went off in my pocket just now. Like I'm obsessed with my front door.
But I love that because it's like even if I knew where you were going, I didn't know because the way you led into it. I thought that was really cool.
That was the idea was to try to take because I think that's what you can do is because you're always working on new jokes, making the old ones better. So and I think that I can do that if I go back through some of my old. It's not like I don't have enough VHS tapes to go through.
And then Brett.
Yeah, Brett
flipped me out.
Brett came out afterwards. Brett was so good. Brett.
I'd never seen him before.
Oh, you haven't?
So
okay.
I didn't know that energy is so frantic.
Oh yeah.
I felt panicky and it was so funny and I was like, this is so real and raw.
I don't think I've ever seen Brett.
He just kept
really?
he's in no way, shape, or form polished. Like the whole time he's like, did I just miss that? How long's the red light been on? Like he does not.
But that's kind of the point. That's kind of
what
he does.
I loved it because it was. I felt like that was me up there. Yeah. Like what the hell's happening? So then
well, he does this one thing. And I don't want to give it away if you guys go to see him.
Oh, was that red light giving something away?
No.
Okay.
He does something else that's an actual bit. But you don't know it's a bit at first, and he starts doing it, and you're like,
it's so funny.
And you're like, oh, this is awkward, and then you realize, oh no, this is a bit, and the bit's really funny. So I feel that he's going to be going up a lot more.
I thought that was really good too because at one point I was like, okay, come on, like
it's not working.
It's not working.
And then you're like, oh my god, it's been working since the beginning. Yeah.
And I think. I would imagine Brett or you. Ellis is starting not this Thursday, but next Thursday, the Thursday before Arizona. That Mark Ellis and Friends monthly show at the Comedy Store in the Belly Room.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Ken's on it. On this upcoming Thursday, I'm going to go to it.
Wait, what does that mean?
He's going to start doing a monthly show at the Comedy Store. Mark Ellis is in the Belly Room on Thursday nights.
This is what I wanted to ask you guys. So did he handpick all the comics?
Yeah,
because he's really good at that.
Well, he knew Brett was going to be there. If these guys would have been there, they probably would have hosted. But then he probably reached out to Vince, and I'm glad he did. Yeah.
Yo, his other friend was hysterical too.
Michael Nelson.
Was that?
He was so funny.
When was that? I missed Michael.
He was.
When did he go up?
I think he was right after Brett and before Ellis.
Yeah, you were gone.
Nelson must have been outside.
Yeah.
I was talking to my wife on the phone because she wanted to know about the set, which everyone was like, "What did your wife think?" Because I have been getting it since. When we got on the phone, she was asking me about it. She was so excited, and then she's like,
"She knew you were doing it beforehand."
I told her same thing, same way, like a little bit before you found out, and she's like, "Wait, what?" She said, "Have someone tape it." I didn't have anybody record it because I didn't. Not that I told him not to.
I was gonna take out my phone and record it, and then I was like, I don't want to flip them out.
No, I wouldn't have minded it, but I just didn't think about it. It wasn't about trying to record it, and I wouldn't have released it or anything,
No, just to have.
Because especially if I want to try to do it again, I got to make sure I got to change up all. That way, somebody in Orlando comes and checks it out.
Right.
Wouldn't that have been freaky though if me in the front row all of a sudden was like, "Oh,
yeah."
I didn't want to be like, I don't know.
But so I missed Mike because Mike went to Florida State. Mike's a sweetheart of a guy too.
Michael Nelson lived across the street from me, legitimately in the building right across the street from me forever. Because now he's writing on WWE, so he doesn't live in LA anymore.
Oh, good. He is. Shit.
I think so.
Am I thinking of the right person? Because there was 2 other comics.
Yeah. So there was Mike Mike
came to Schmodown.
Yes.
Okay, he was hysterical.
I missed him.
He did a bit at the top that I connected to so much that I screamed out loud, "Me!
Right.
That's me!"
Funny.
Like it was so good.
I'm bummed that I missed Mike because it's so funny because I saw him at the show. And I was talking to him, and then I saw him post something, thanks to Mark Ellis, and he tagged me in it. And I'm looking, I'm like, it must have been from another night, but I thought Mark only did one show.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. I was on the phone
good.
with Sadie for a good 10 minutes afterwards.
Must have missed Nelson said.
You were gone, and Pinto was gone, I think.
Probably smoking a cigarette or clove. He started smoking Dagnino's cloves because he was having a cigarette. Oh, so good.
No.
It was amazing.
That's freaking close.
But anyway, so that was not the best part of that night, though. Yeah. It really wasn't. Even though it was a lot of fun to get back on stage, and Mark absolutely crushed it.
I know what you're about to say, I think.
Mark absolutely crushed it. Mark was so good. He did a lot of new stuff, and all the other comics were great. We get outside, and the fans are out there, right? And then I see, actually Christian was the one who says, "Hey, why don't you introduce somebody to you?" And I remember exactly how he said it, but he's like, "Yeah, Saul was here," and then he left. I'm like, "Oh," he's like, "This guy knows Saul."
Yeah, he wrote on a napkin because I didn't know who it was at the time.
Yeah.
He handed me a napkin and said, "Hey, can you give this to Christian?" I wasn't able to get in. I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure." So and then I saw him outside. He's like, "I'm Saul." I'm like, "What the fuck? And you're Saul?"
You got him in?
No, I didn't
No,
get
he
him
still
in. This
didn't
was
get in.
after the show.
Oh, he didn't get into the show?
No, he
I don't
didn't
think
get in
so.
the show.
Yeah.
No, I
And
talked to
then-
him for like an hour and a half. He did not get in, but he handed the napkin to get to you so that you knew that he was there.
Yeah.
You should have fucking pulled his Saul weight. We could have got him in.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people who couldn't get into the show.
It's a small club.
It's a small club. It's like
only
110 people or something.
Right.
Whatever. So anyway, so he was there. I go, Saul. I remember when on the air I said, "I'm going to call you out, Saul," and people are going to go. He's like, "No one's going to know who I am, right?" So we're on the street, and there's got to be 100 people on the street.
Yeah.
And I look and I go, "Ladies and gentlemen, Saul." And I might as well said that Brad Pitt just showed up, right? But not only that. He looks nothing like you think he would.
Literally the exact opposite. I don't even know what to make of it. He has red hair.
Looks like Conor McGregor.
A beard.
Yeah.
Handsome. 30s, maybe.
That's what I said. I said like mid, maybe almost late 30s.
He looks like Conor McGregor.
He looks like Conor McGregor.
You're
Yeah,
joking
the suit.
me.
I gotta find
You
the
got a
picture.
picture?
Yeah, I
It
got
was
the picture somewhere.
It was bizarro, Saul.
Listen, I'm bummed that I didn't get to see your set. I've never seen Brett. I'm bummed I wasn't there, but I'm most bummed that I didn't get to
I
meet
get it.
Saul.
I totally
in this
get
whole
it.
thing.
I gotta find this as I'm scanning through this, but he
wonderful beard.
He's got
an absolutely wonderful beard.
Yeah,
3 out of 10, 5 out of 5 schmucks.
That's him.
That's Saul.
Yeah,
Let me
that's
see the
Saul.
picture.
They made a poster out of it. Someone made him a better.
He looks
better
like
call
he
Saul.
doesn't look like Conor McGregor. He
You
looks
will-
like Tormund Giants.
No, you gotta see him
in that picture, yes, but not in life. He looks like Conor McGregor.
Not in life. You got to see it. So
Holy moly!
It's the full picture I posted with Saul. I don't even know where I posted. I think I posted it in the Facebook group.
Somebody made some creepy graphic of me with Pennywise, and I refuse. Did somebody turn on the AC?
The AC is on, and we do have an instructional manual from Thad in the Slack right now. So everybody, we have permission. We can do it anytime we want. Step 1, walk over to the thermostat. Step 2, turn it on. Step 3, press fan or fan auto. Press Step 4, press mode. Step 5, there is no Step 5. And you don't need any permission whatsoever.
So what do you guys
Thank
think?
You, Thad.
What do you think? Dorian's listening and then ran up to Thad and was like, "Thad, what's
Thad's,
happening?"
and Thad's on vacation right
Thad's
now,
not
so
here.
this is
Is
a
he
good
still in New
man
York?
here.
He's in New York, and
Okay.
then I think they're in Virginia already because they're going to
okay.
see his and her family and
Yeah.
stuff like that. They're having a little weekend.
Thanks, Thad.
So taking a little time off to give
hopefully
us
they-
the instructional.
Hopefully they don't have to evacuate.
Fucking idiot. I'm
well,
going through it.
I
God, I
feel
know.
it. I feel the air.
Yeah, I feel it now. So
Thank God.
But
I
so-
get lightheaded. Do you guys not
Yes.
get? Yeah. Okay.
I get like the sweat chills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
Which leads to nausea.
Yeah.
You see it now? The suit.
that is Saul.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Is he like an old timey bartender?
He was
Kinda.
he was great, and he had
He's awesome.
Well, the fact you know what, Roxy kind of buried the lead. Did you hear what she said? I talked to him for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I
that's
heard
like
that.
We talked for
remember
a
the
long
feud.
time.
the
Did you guys
feud.
bury the hatchet?
There's
Are
no
you
real,
and Saul now dating?
I don't think there's.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
I don't think
we
there's
are
no real
definitely dating.
hatchet. I think it's all about like the bit.
Yeah, I
but
just
they
did a
were-
lot of listening, honestly. Like, we sat for a long time, and I just was curious about who he is and was surprised with how he looked.
Yeah. What does Saul do?
I don't know.
I don't know what parts of our conversation, truthfully, he was like, I don't want to hear about this on Collider Live. And out of respect for Saul,
Yeah,
I'm
that's fair.
going to keep that to myself.
That's fair.
But what was interesting was Saul did say to me, and I don't know why people have a tendency to say this
He
to
looks
me.
like a Tommy. He doesn't look like a Saul.
No, he does not look like a Saul.
I think it's because I have like a very... you guys know people
Talkable face.
No, people think I'm dumber than I am all the time, my whole life, and that's fine. And I think I can lean into that or not, but whatever. But I think because of that in a drinking setting, sometimes people think that I'm drunker than I am.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm only telling you this because you're not going to remember any of this tomorrow. And the next day we saw him, and I was like, I remember everything.
Yeah,
so this is me again saying, Saul, I was not as drunk as one might believe.
Did you call him out at the Schmodown or no? Just that night?
No, it was just that night because I forgot. I mean, because I forgot about it at the when we were doing the show. But speaking of which, the next day we get there. Theater was beautiful, right? We get there.
Pics look great.
Nice. It was like close to, I think it was a little over 550, something like that, too. People, it was pretty packed. There was a little.
It was packed.
It was packed. There was a little bit of a mishap up top. Not with nothing that it was just something that happened with the digital wheel. Right?
Honestly, do you know what happened backstage?
Something. I think something kind of. It doesn't matter. Just things. What happened?
I don't have to tell you if it doesn't matter.
But I don't want to call anybody out or anything.
I'm not calling anybody out.
Oh, all right, cool.
There were technical issues.
I don't know what happened. Somebody came running up to me and said, "Here's a plate. Start writing." And so I'm sitting there.
Thank you for that. By the way.
And so I'm like, I don't ask any questions. I have no idea what's happening. I said, okay.
Yeah,
so I just start on a piano.
It was a first miss. It was the first time since like the 2015 tournament that we did the hat. Because we didn't have a wheel.
I saw that.
We didn't have a wheel. For only for the first match. Second, Thad got the real
bacon?
quick. No, not the bacon, but he got the wheel run in the second round.
The wheel situation has become like the bane of the Schmodown. Like digital, normal, it doesn't matter.
When we went to San Diego, we took the mini wheel. And we were going.
I think it's hideous.
No. The
I actually like the mini
It was
wheel.
actually fine, and it worked fine. The problem is it's like $70, right? $60-$70, and I had to send it to San Diego, and we have it here. But to bring it on the plane, I can't do it. So I would have to order another one to New York and just leave it. And I was going to do that.
But why can't you bring it?
Because it's like
jam it in your suitcase.
The guys are
as a piece of luggage.
The guys are bringing so much stuff. Brett had to take the big old step and repeat. These guys are taking cameras and equipment. It's like their belts are being taken on the plane.
Right.
It's like one more thing that you give these guys, and it's like no. It's like either order it to the theater or use the digital wheel, and the audience will have to deal with it. And for the second match, that's what happened. But anyway, we're not going to talk too much about the event itself because, like I said, it's not available Thursday or Friday. It was a lot of fun, a lot of great fans.
I had two friends who came to the event
who
had no idea what Schmodown was, never seen anything, just have heard me talk about ancillary like I'm a part of this thing. They were dying. Dying.
They liked it?
Oh my God. They were freaking out. But what was really funny is that one of my close girlfriends, but she lives in New York, was texting me saying, I literally don't understand. Something big happens at the top of the show. Right. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we
can say what that was.
No, you know that'll be up. That'll be up on Thursday, and I'll release
something big happens at the top of the show.
Yeah.
She texted me, "I'm hysterically crying."
Oh, that's great.
I'm hysterically crying.
Great.
What have you brought me to?
Awesome.
Then texts me saying, "Who is this bachelor douchebag lookalike who's on stage?" And I said, Ben Bateman, my ex-boyfriend. She said, no.
Yes.
Which was so good.
During the pre-show.
It was unbelievable.
Amazing.
Really excited about that. But the both of them, they were like, this was so much fun. They're both big movie people.
Right,
so they were like,
dug
we're playing along. We loved it. And then you guys all like, we want to get into the storylines. Who is this? Asking me so many questions afterwards. Like, I couldn't believe.
brought his whole family. And his dad was there.
And his girlfriend, his brothers, his dad.
It was awesome.
That's awesome. And he even, this isn't a spoiler, he even wore a picture of his mom on his jacket, which I thought was just, I mean, him and I connect on that level. So I loved that. I think.
He was great. He's such a natural entertainer. He really is.
Not just because he's my player, by far and away, he's the biggest entertainer on stage. Like he was great.
He was great.
So
he
did
have
good.
a good looking suit too.
Yeah, but the whole suit. Yeah, so that match is going to drop.
His family did not like his suit. It was a big point of contention beforehand.
Oh, really?
Well, I guess they don't.
Thought it looked great.
Yeah, it worked for what he's been doing lately. So if you go Thursday, Haley Fouch and Ethan goes up. Those two opened up the show and did a phenomenal job. And then Friday we close out with the Oyama versus Snyder title match. Go ahead and check that out. So
I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, so that was everything that kind of went down.
Yeah.
And I think that we got on the plane, went home, did the thing, got back, hung out with the family for a bit, had a day to unwind because of the holiday, which was awesome.
Very much needed.
And really good because everybody who left Monday apparently got stuck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw a number of people.
I saw like Jake Iacovetta, all those Action Army guys. They all got stuck because New York rains and whatnot.
Shoot.
Yeah, Smets and Janine and Brandon went to. I guess we're going to Detroit.
Oh,
So
wow.
they had to
they
go to Detroit.
rerouted everybody.
No, not again.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I threw. By the way, Smets, he's one of my favorite people.
I love him.
Yeah.
We go to Benihana on right before the Schmodown. I sit down. It was PJ and his two friends, Max and his wife, I believe, and Frankie Numbers. And
Thank you for the invite. Brianne.
It wasn't me. Yeah, so Brianne and Smets show up, right? And you know, Benny, have you ever been to Benihana before?
Yes,
they
I
make
have.
the
I love
food.
it there.
Okay, so on the side
to
is
be
where
invited.
we are
Lovely.
sitting, and then I'm like right in the corner, and that's our table. And then they put more people who are there, like on the other side of you, and everyone's looped around. We have two seats waiting for both Smets and Brianne. They show up. Smets like, "Hey, everybody!" So he slaps Max and everyone's hands. He slaps mine. Then he starts shaking the hands of these people on the side. He's like, "How are you? Nice to see you. What's going on?" I go, "We don't know them." He's like, "Oh, you're not with me?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Oh." He's like, "It's your birthday." He's like, "Your birthday." He's like, "Should I take it back? What do I do?" And he sits down and is like, "Smets."
He's great.
Smets talked more in, I don't know, an hour than I think that I've heard you speak in 15 minutes, which is crazy. He's
I think he's becoming more comfortable in the league and with everybody around.
Yeah. He's really he's great.
Awesome. I agree. Also, I heard that, and I'm not going to say what, obviously, but I heard that you may or may not have
Announced something.
something.
I did. What I've been doing lately on the Q&A. When you come to the Q&A on the VIP section, I usually give you a big spoiler.
That was a massive one I did not know,
That
and
some
then when I
fans knew
came
about.
outside,
Yeah.
and some fans were asking me about it, and I was like, "Did I? Wait,
No,
I
you
didn't say."
No,
Yeah.
I let some of the fans know in this. Like I said, Mark always makes a joke out of it. Then in the Q&A, I always give something, but I give something pretty big away.
Something.
allowed to say
Some
it?
might
No,
say.
not on the air. I'm not gonna say it.
Some
but-
might say you gave something. Never mind. I'm scared.
Yeah, don't say it. Don't say it. Anyway, so all that stuff that happened. I get back last night. I'm watching. I turn on Netflix, and I'm torn because I don't know what to watch. Or I turn on the TV and I'm torn because I don't know what to watch. I'm like, Bachelor in Paradise. Do I do that?
Yeah.
Tell me you did because.
Didn't have a chance to because.
What did I tell you?
I know, but I didn't do this on purpose to you this time. This time it was a screw up on the DVR. I was going to watch it, so didn't have a chance to do that. Then, you know what I started watching? Dark Crystal. Right? Started watching.
I'm hearing it's slow and not great.
I don't care what you.
Allison Keene, I can't talk more about it. Like, she's obsessed with it.
So, but here's what I started to do because I started to watch that episode, and then I'm like, I don't remember the original lore enough because it's a prequel, right? So I'm like, screw this. I start watching the movie.
Yeah.
And I started watching the movie, the original movie, the '82 or whatever it was, and I'm like, this is awesome.
Is Dark Crystal the movie
It's
on
Netflix?
Netflix?
And I start watching. I'm like, this is as awesome as I remember it being. And I start watching that. Then I'm going to go watch the prequel afterwards. So I'm watching that right now. But my wife wanted to watch The Affair. So we watched season 6, I think. So we watched The Affair last
Final
night.
season on Showtime,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So we watched episode 1 of The Affair, dug it, and just kind of that's all I did.
I don't think
I'm
I'll
really
watch
upset
it.
that you didn't watch Bachelor in Paradise. Tell me that you did.
No,
He did.
I didn't
I
even know it
watched-
was on.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was on.
Is it a good episode?
Yeah.
They turned. I haven't been this upset.
This was my frustrating episode. I was frustrated this episode, but yes, good.
Bigger heel turn: Hulk Hogan and Bashing the Beach, or John Paul Jones?
Well, after this episode, I guess it's not even a heel
It's not a
turn.
heel
Yeah,
turn anymore.
I know.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's weird.
You know what? But because of the lack of heel turn, I almost dislike him more now.
Really? Because he doesn't know he can't handle himself.
Because
he's a young kid though. He's 24.
I know.
That's what
I
it is,
know.
'cause
It's
I don't
just-
like
and
him.
He's starting to become annoying.
No.
It's
He's
a little
really-
annoying in this
He's
episode.
really annoying. He's just doing this weird
Breaking
thing.
my heart.
Is Derek the next Bachelor?
I hope not.
No, I don't think he'll be the next Bachelor.
Really?
Yeah, I see where you're going with
No,
this.
they
I
haven't
mean, you
announced it
watch
Are
yet.
you looking at his Twitter?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, I haven't seen
I
it.
will. Don't worry. I will
I only follow
find
one
love.
person. Well, if JPJ counts. I follow 2 people from that show. You want to guess who the other one is?
Jared.
Well, no, Jared Habon. I'm talking about this season.
John Paul Jones.
No, it's
Yes.
obviously Tasha. Are you guys
100%.
kidding?
You know me very well.
Yeah, I'd follow Tasha too.
She is
to the ends of the
she
earth.
is-
Don't tell my wife.
She is something
I
else.
dug.
Sorry, Sam.
I dug Tasha in this episode, though. I dug what she did.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's always been very straightforward and honest.
all
and I
right.
appreciate
All
that.
right. I'm looking
I think
forward
she's
to
just like probably a really good girl in
Yeah.
person.
I'll watch it tonight. Thank you.
I'm excited for tonight's episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch both.
Okay.
The
I
reason
don't know
we
if that's true,
didn't,
but I'll watch one of them.
Amanda's off Bachelor in Paradise, so I have to like
You
sneakily
gotta
watch
do
it.
it,
Like
yeah.
I had the last 2 seasons of Bachelor and Bachelorette, but
Sneaking around your wife to watch Bachelor in Paradise.
it's going well. Life is just really handing me all the cards. I started watching. I mean, I watched season 1, and then we finally started watching season 2, and are now like almost finished with season 3 of Working Moms, Catherine Reitman
Oh right,
show.
we gotta get her on the show, man.
Dude.
We gotta text her and get her on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That show is absolutely fantastic. It
Really?
is one of the best shows on Netflix. It's one of the most real and like
Yeah.
honest
Season 3
shows.
already?
Season 3, and they're
Wow.
shooting season 4.
All right. Well, because
It-
they shot 2 of them that already aired, like in Canada. Or
Yeah,
something
well, they've
like
all
that.
already aired in Canada because it's a
Oh,
Canadian
okay.
show.
Oh, look at that.
CBC. And then it goes on Netflix. So there's 3 seasons on Netflix. Dude, I'm telling you, first of all, Catherine Reitman absolutely crushes it. She directs episodes. She writes all
She
the
has
episodes.
some
She
of
created
the
the
best
show.
comedic timing I've ever worked with.
I know, 100%.
Ever.
She's fantastic.
She's brilliant.
Brilliant.
When did
and
you
this
guys
show,
work together?
She was my co-host and the first co-host on Schmoes ever.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
She was co-host from
Wow.
2011 until like
I didn't know that.
mid 2012.
Like
yeah.
bonkers. This show, if you can keep Amanda's attention on a show, you have a special show.
Yeah.
And she's obsessed with the show. Like, it's not laugh out loud funny all the time, but it is hysterical the whole time. And it's hysterical because it's just real.
Yeah,
like, it's so effing real.
I'm gonna text her and we'll get her on because we'll have her talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what we're gonna do, because we want to give a lot of time to the Joker stuff, we'll save news today, like the heavy news at like 11:30.
Okay.
Because we want to get all this. So we hit a couple stories right now if we want. But
We're gonna talk
let's do
about
the
it?
review.
Yeah.
Let's do the review. We'll do the review of It Chapter 2 because the embargo is lifted, so that'll give us enough time.
I'm so tired of the amount of times that I've said to somebody I'm talking about it, and they say what?
Well, because you don't enunciate it well enough.
Well, even if they hear it, then they say, what? Yeah, I get it. What do you think is more annoying? That or how many people have told Dorian to not hit the Bahamas?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
I
'cause
don't
poor-
understand.
Hurricane Dorian?
Because man, poor. I mean, I was.
Wow, I wouldn't have even thought
No,
about that.
I was crushed yesterday because Florida and all these places and I mean I think that there was like
Evacuate 12 counties?
5 people I think died in the Bahamas.
Not to mention there was another school shooting, and they're barely
what?
even making.
No.
or,
yeah, there was another
sorry,
shooting.
not school, another shooting.
Mass
shooting. Yeah,
eight,
Odessa,
eight
Texas.
people dead. Like,
Yeah.
none of this.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I walked into Dorian and said, "How many people keep calling you Hurricane Dorian?" He's like, "Everybody." He's like, "On my family text." He's like, "I'm just blocking people now." At this
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Well, I hadn't even correlated.
I texted Dorian, I think like last week on Thursday or Friday. And I was like, "Hey man, let's do some Instagram stories of you messing up people's desks as Hurricane Dorian." And Dad was like, "I think it's actually doing a lot of damage, Josh." And I was like, "It's
Yeah.
probably best we don't do this."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I said. It's just like, yeah.
But that's why people need to be allowed to make jokes in comedy clubs and try things out and realize what's not funny.
Well, speaking of that, we'll wait on the It thing because you talk about Dave Chappelle stuff. I think Dave
haven't
Chappelle.
watched it yet.
I haven't watched it yet either. But what
I've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Yes.
I'm hearing a lot of.
amazing.
I'm hearing from half the people that what he did about the Michael Jackson.
That's like the first 5 minutes.
Is so inappropriate they couldn't keep watching, and I'm hearing from people that it was amazing.
But what you're saying, right? You just that whole conversation that we had months ago, you just summed up with that one sentence. That's the whole point. Is that someone like Dave Chappelle, who just said, "I'm going to talk about everything you think I shouldn't talk about." Some of you are going to think this is funny. Some of you are going to hate it, and I know that going into it because
that's
he's It's his point, and he's one of the best of all time, and that is the whole point of comedy. And you got to give him credit, whether you agree with what he's saying or not. He's got the balls to do what comedy, what is intended to do, to be
I
that
haven't
outlet.
seen it. I haven't heard it. Yeah.
But I haven't seen it either. But from what I've heard so far, and I'm going to watch it. It's one of the things I was going to watch last night, but my daughter kept sneaking out. I'm like, well, I'd rather her see Dark Crystal sneaking out than that. But
I watched the first 20 minutes.
She goes to school repeating the set.
I have trouble because you when you've spent and you spend a lot of time in a comedy club watching a stand-up set on TV. I just get bored after 20 minutes. I really do.
Unless the true greats are.
I know exactly. Yeah. But his first 15 minutes was absolute fire.
It's interesting because you were one of the most of the critics or whatever it is that we are that I know, you were one of the most outspoken about all the Michael Jackson stuff. So you still thought that it was funny.
Yeah, because I can separate. I can see jokes for what they are.
So you don't necessarily agree with his points, but you understand why it's funny.
Yes.
That's kind of this is why this
fucking
all
comedy.
ties back and all that too. The George Carlin thing of anything can be funny. It just depends on how it is said. And I stick to that to this day. But that doesn't mean everyone is going to find it funny.
Correct.
And that is why he should be allowed to do whatever he wants to do. And you, as an audience member, are allowed to feel however you want to. But to want to boycott him and want to say all this stuff, it's silly because that is his job. His job is to.
Shouldn't you be allowed to boycott him if you don't like him?
You can,
absolutely,
if you want it, but
that's the other end.
But also, you can 100%. But I just happen to think that that's silly. And I guess the whole point is I'm allowed to feel that way, right? And
I've always loved Dave Chappelle. I think he's freaking hysterical. He just works for me, so I'm with you guys on that one. But I can
watch this special tomorrow, and if I walk in here and I tell you guys, I think that whole thing, I was offended by it. I can't believe that he would try to do that. But good on him for trying it. Because I still feel that way because and he might say things and I'm like, oh, that's hard for me to listen to. But I watched
There's a lot of that.
I watched Jeremy Johns' video yesterday, and Jeremy had a great video on it. And
about Dave Chappelle?
About the Dave Chappelle show. And he was really good, and he said, and he went into it, and he as he's watching it, he said, oh, that's going to piss some people off. Oh, that's tough, but shit, he's going there. And that's what you got to respect about it. And I want to see the actual show itself before I can speak fully on it. But
I think with stand-up specials for me, I think I need to watch like 20 minutes, go away, come back, and go and watch it, and come back and take a break because I just get bored. Get bored.
It was beautiful. There was some stuff that he was touching. I think it's very important that he did this. Yeah. I really do, and I think you're talking about the greats. This for me cemented it. This is like one of those whole.
Do you think
you got people talking
that this opens doors for Eddie Murphy to feel like he can say more things?
Eddie Murphy's not.
That's a great question.
Eddie Murphy though is from '84 until today is a very different brand than he was back in '84. Right? Chappelle has never changed that brand. That's just how he is. Murphy's got to be careful because he's a movie star also, and he makes a lot of family movies. Chappelle does not. Chappelle's brand is to go and do stand-up comedy and to be honest and, I guess, pun intended, raw. And maybe Eddie Murphy does come out that way. Who knows?
You know what's kind of crazy is that Chappelle's family, they live in Ohio. Like you wouldn't, and like the way
he makes jokes about that, about him living in Ohio. It's
nothing
crazy.
He doesn't. Because he does my favorite comedians all time: George Carlin, Richard Pryor, right? And Lenny Bruce, Bill Hicks. Because all of those comedians, they are raw, they're honest, they don't give a fuck about what's going on and what Twitter says. And that to me is that's why I heard when I'm hearing the reviews. That's what's so refreshing. Even if I don't like any of it, I just like that he's going. Nope, this culture right now, you can't just hit me in the head with a rock because you want to.
Dude, watch the first 5 minutes. He says the most brilliant thing to the audience. Like he's like, the reason you can't, you people. Like he just goes at his audience, and he does it in a way. It's like an attack the trolls kind of a thing. Yeah. But Chappelle does it in person to these people, and it is. I'm telling you. I mean, Chappelle is on a different level. He always has been, and he always will be. What he said, and like you said, I mean, I've been this proponent of all this Michael Jackson stuff, and people still tweet me like, "What do you think about this? This bullshit theory." I'm like, listen, whatever the case may be, I can separate everything and know the fact that Dave Chappelle made a pretty damn smart, funny joke.
Do you think that I'll like it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think Christian will?
Yes.
Yeah. I think you'll be offended a bunch of times, but you'll still get it. But I think after this conversation.
It's interesting, though, that you guys say that because I feel like what has offended me in the room?
It's what you said. It's what you said during our conversation about it. You said that you believe there are certain things that should not be talked about.
That doesn't mean that, for me, that I'm personally offended by them. I just think that there are certain things that I've never heard be funny.
That's what I'm curious about to see if he can do that for you.
But I feel like of everybody, you guys are always saying that I get offended. I've never walked out of the room.
Yeah.
I've never said, "Wow,
no.
really."
I don't mean that.
It's not really my. That's not really my MO.
I mean more of like, wow, I can't believe that they talked about that. Like, but we'll get into that more. We still, if we can, hopefully we can watch it by either this week or talk about it next week. But we have about I don't even know if we have time to talk about it because we only have what we'll talk.
Well, can we push the?
We can push it later.
Or push the break, either way.
Well, we got John coming in at 11.
Oh.
So what we'll do is we'll talk about it and the Joker at 11:30. So we'll do both there because I want to make sure we get to that stuff because I know that the audience right now.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to go to break. When we get back, we are going to have John de Resta in here. Maybe we'll get John's thoughts on the Dave Chappelle stuff, too, being a comedian. So right after the break, comedian John de Resta will be in studio.
Hey guys, it's Perry here to let you know that Movie Talk is moving. We've had a great time in this 3 p.m. Pacific slot, but guess what? We want you to start your day with Collider Movie Talk, so we're moving. 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get a longer show with some brand new segments, so tune in starting Monday, September 16th, 9 a.m. Pacific. See you there.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Sports Time. Well, if you've been watching us every week, we break down the latest and the greatest in the world of sports, talk about the big issues, the big games, all of it with a rotating band of guests like Matt Nose and Josh McCouga. We've had Taylor Bisciotti on. We've had so many great guests. Now, if you want to see more of Sports Time or you want to try it out for the first time, remember to subscribe to Collider Sports YouTube channel for all the sports goodness.
Hey guys, it's Riley here. Let me tell you about the Riley Roundtable. You know it, right? It drops every Thursday on Collider Conversations, and I have guests from all across the space. John Roca, Gray Drake, Alexander Desplat came on at one point. We talk everything from movies, we talk about life, and everything in between. What do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? It's the Riley Roundtable every Thursday on Collider Conversations. You get it there.
Hi, I'm Coy Jandro, host of Collider Heroes, and I'm here to tell you we've got 20-minute episodes coming at you on Collider Video, on the YouTube, as you've always loved it. Plus, now we've got hour-long podcasts dropping every Thursday, so make sure to subscribe to the podcast because it's going to get even more sweaty on the podcast. Plus, every week, we're going to try to get some very special guest interviews, all of the people that help shape these movies and TV shows you love. So, video, podcast, interviews, all coming at you. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. Stay sweaty.
Well, hello there. I'm Ken Knapsack, one of the hosts of Collider Jedi Council, and I'd like to invite you to listen to our show, watch our show. It's on every Thursdays on the Collider Video channel, and it's also available in podcast form if you'd like to listen to our sweet voices on Collider Jedi Council, me, Christian Harloff, and a bevy of guests, I say, talk Star Wars. We celebrate Star Wars. We dig into the Star Wars news. We speculate everything about Star Wars, including your questions. So join us on Collider Jedi Council. You're going to have a great time.
What's up, Collider fans? Ryan Satin here from ProWrestlingSheet.com, where you can find the top stories throughout the week in the world of professional wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan like myself, then you'll be doing yourself a disservice by not checking out all the shows we do every week on YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. In particular, on Wednesdays, we've got a SmackDown recap show hosted by John Roca and myself, where we pick apart and talk about every little thing that happened on the Blue Brand. So do yourself a favor and go subscribe at youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet.
Hey guys, Riley here, and let me tell you about Rule of Two. You looking for a Star Wars fix? Well, Rule of Two is that show. It drops on Collider Video's main YouTube channel, as well as on Podcast One's Jedi Council feed. So go over there, subscribe, share it with your friends. It's hosted by myself and Mark Fernandez. We talk everything in the Star Wars universe with a lot of deep dives and a lot of conversations that go all in. You know what to do. Subscribe, join us there, and rise.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Mailbag. A new episode drops every Saturday and Sunday in your face and in your ears, answering the questions from you fans about the world of entertainment, film, and television. Me and great guests from our sphere do the best to answer your questions from Twitter, from Instagram, and of course, email as well, every Saturday and Sunday.
Hello, how are you guys doing? I'm Christian Harloff. I'm the host of Collider Jedi Council. We talk about everything Star Wars. It's movie news, it's canon, it's all of it. We take questions from you guys. How do you do it? Main channel, that's right here. Subscribe to this channel. But if you want to just listen to it, you got the podcast feed too. Apple Podcasts, you can listen to it in your car. Do all of it. It's Star Wars. Episode 9's coming out. And then after Episode 9, you got TV shows. So we're going to be your sports center for Star Wars. Do it. Come on. Be real.
Hi, I'm Amy Dallin, one of the hosts of Collider Heroes, and starting right now, you can catch our show Tuesday nights with a new Collider Heroes and a longer Collider Heroes podcast, where Coy and I are gonna talk your ears off. You already know that's coming. So make sure to go to YouTube, subscribe, and find us on the Collider Heroes podcast feed for all of that sweaty goodness.
The Witching Hour is all over Collider right now. You can listen to that Horrorville podcast with myself, with Haley Fouch. We talk about witchiness, we talk about slashers, we talk about space horror, you name it, all on that show on the Collider Factory feed. And on top of that, you can find an article all about Witching Hour every single Tuesday on Collider.com. Check it out, get scared. Hopefully you survive the Witching Hour.
Welcome everybody back to Collider Live, and yeah, I think we talked about 45 minutes, 50 minutes on our trip to New York. Just got back.
Crazy.
It was a lot of fun, exciting. Speaking of New York, it's very bizarre. When I first got to LA and I started doing stand-up out here, I was doing a bunch of different clubs, and I don't remember the name of the actual place itself or what it was, but one of the comedians that I met there was a guy, former cop, very funny dude, and he was a Long Island guy. His name was John de Resta, and randomly, my wife runs into him at the flea market, I guess, like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I make rustic furniture.
Great shit, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I've been making rustic furniture for about 35 years.
Yeah.
So as a comedian, actor, that doesn't want to have to get a day job. Not that I need one, but I found something that I could do where I could smoke pot, listen to heavy metal, not have a boss, and make a little bit of money.
And it's good stuff because my wife, the first time we moved into this place, and she's like, "This table just isn't working. I got to find something." She goes, "I found the table." So it was like Indiana Jones finding the fucking thing in the beginning with Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Your picture?
No, I'll take a picture of it though, but it's gorgeous. It's sitting there in the kitchen, perfect for it. And so I go to pick it up, and John and I start bullshitting about like the old days.
I have a pretty good memory, and the name of that club just escapes me. We did a place right on the edge of Hollywood and Beverly Hills.
Yeah. It was like it was right as you're getting into
on Sunset.
It's on Sunset.
It's the last business on the right.
It's across the street from what's the place that you're a member at?
Boa.
Soho House.
It's across the street. Soho House was not a thing
now
back
Bootsy Bellas.
It's now Bootsy Bellas.
Maybe it's
but
Bootsy
back
Bellas.
then
It was not Bootsy Bellas. But
for a while, I think there was a sign out front that was upside down. Do you remember that?
No.
That was after we did the gig.
No, I don't remember.
We did it about a year or two. Pretty often.
Yeah, it was often. We would
with
do it
Kathy
all the time.
Kanicki.
That's right. She ran it. Kathy Kanicki ran it.
Yep.
And so
Great name.
Yeah, it was great. So it was funny because I knew you because you. Not too long after that is when you got Miss Congeniality, right?
Miss Congeniality came around in 99, 2000.
Oh, okay.
But I had done 15 minutes before that. Did you guys ever see the movie? No one's ever seen it. 15 minutes.
Is that with Pacino?
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro
Right. And Ed Burns.
Oh, that's right.
I love Ed Burns.
That's right.
Ed and I went to high school together.
No way.
In Long Island.
Yeah.
Watch this. Ed was 4 years older than me, same circle of friends, but we just never met. And we met on the audition for me to be his partner in a movie. And here we were like, oh, do you know this one? You know that one? You know this one? And the director just literally sat back, and I knew I got the gig.
Yeah.
But just from us bullshitting back and forth.
That's
Can
right.
we curse?
Yeah, 100%. So all right. So tell me a little about Miss Congeniality though too. How was that experience?
Miss Congeniality was not only fantastic and fun, and I'll get to the details, but it earned me a pension that I lost. I lost my pension with the NYPD because I left early. I left to be rich and famous in Hollywood. I had a big sitcom deal. And then just by a crazy twist of fate, the residuals and the pay of Miss Congeniality added up. Everything added up, but Miss Congeniality mostly. I just got my first pension check from the Screen Actors Guild August 1st.
Oh, wow.
Very few people get that.
Yeah.
And it was from Miss Congeniality because it was based on your pay, and you got to be in a movie that plays. It still plays a lot.
Yeah.
And I no audition. I worked with Ed Burns on 15 Minutes. Then do you guys remember Brothers McMullen?
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That was turned into a sitcom.
Okay.
And I got the role as the brother that, if you remember the movie, that had the condom in the back pocket. The older brother.
Yeah.
And we shot the pilot, and when you shoot a pilot, it's a big deal. There's an audience. My wife's there. She had her hair all done up like Carmela Soprano.
Yeah.
Taking photos in case the show goes. And Brian Dennehy was the father.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. It was like nothing can go wrong. That night, and then I turned my phone on, and it had 7 messages, and I thought somebody died. And it was, John, you're in a movie with Sandra Bullock. John, you're in a movie. It's your man, and John, it's your agent. John, you're in a movie with Sandra Bullock. You have to be on a private jet. This is 10 at night.
Holy shit.
Tomorrow at 6 a.m.
Oh, no.
From Burbank to Austin, Texas to do the table reading. It all happened that quick.
Damn.
Oh, damn.
And the coolest thing about a private jet is you can carry your marijuana. No one searches you, and I knew that. And like from going from Ed Burns' set with Brian Dennehy, and the director was pretty famous on this. It was called Fighting Fitzgerald.
Okay.
You know the guy with the beard that everyone thinks is a genius?
Larry Charles.
Larry Charles was involved in it. It was like, then boom, next day, I'm sitting at a huge table at an airport to do a table reading, and Sandra Bullock comes over to me and says, hey, I really want to thank you for doing this. And she had a mustache. She had one eyebrow. You know what I mean? A
from the thing,
unibrow.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then, well, I didn't realize she kind of let herself go
Right.
to be the ugly duckling.
Right.
And then I stayed in Austin, Texas for about 3 months at the Driscoll Hotel on 6th Street. You guys have been to Austin, Texas?
No.
Yeah.
It's really hot. It was like 110 degrees and 100% humidity.
Yeah.
But I was getting good money, and it was a And here's the fun part: when they found out I could deliver a zinger, a Long Island, New York zinger, and like get out of a scene, I got like called to the set almost every day of the movie, where I should have only been there like 10 days.
Right.
Like every single day, I would just sit in my trailer, smoke pot, watch VHS movies. Back then, I had a stack of all Goodfellas and all that, and then they would just go, tell De Resta to get ready with a zinger for North Dakota. North Dakota, her legs go up to South Dakota or whatever it is.
Right. So you start writing jokes on the set for people.
It was really a really good experience. And
how'd you get along with Bullock? She as cool as everyone says she is?
I'm in 1 and 2. I'm in 2 movies with her.
Yeah, no,
she was great. There were no problems at all. Matthew McConaughey, who stopped by, I met him. No, she was very funny, and
she's like one of those celebrities that, like her and Tom Hanks, you never hear a bad word about.
Yeah.
Almost everybody. And again, I don't like to drop names. Yeah. Michael Caine told me it was rude. Well, he was in Miss Congeniality,
right.
And I don't know if you remember when you and I first met. I had like a callback. Comedians have a callback. And mine that kind of got me a TV deal was thank you, $1, thank you. My dad goes to garage sales in Long Island. He bargains everything down to $1. Then he shows you how proud he is. $1, thank you.
Right.
They wanted 10. $1, thank you.
Right.
So that thank you, that rhythm to this day is used on a lot of NYPD radios in Brooklyn. Instead of over and out. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just a weird, catchy rhythm.
Hysterical.
So much so that Michael Caine in the movie reaches over Sandra Bullock's shoulder, takes a big sandwich out of her hand because she has to lose weight.
Yeah.
And he goes, thank you.
That's awesome.
And he stole it from me. But why did I bring that up? You asked me.
Is Sandra Bullock cool?
We were just talking about just how different celebrities, and you said you didn't want to name drop Michael Caine.
Almost everyone I've ever met is happy that they have a good paying job. Like, I was going to say, from De Niro to Howard Stern to Jay Leno, everyone just seems like they're happy and content where they are. That they don't have to work for a living.
Right.
And then if you bring the funny. Like, I'm on a movie with Sandra Bullock, and if I'm funny, her movie is going to be funnier.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
In the long run, they're even happier.
It depends. Well, it depends on who that person is, because sometimes you get someone like a celebrity that's like that. That's why they're as big as they are. But then you get other people who are so protective of it, and it's very similar to comics in general too.
Yeah,
they don't want
you to be funnier
in beforehand, because as opposed
that's
to
a good point.
The really good comedians want the funny people to go up right before, because then they got to up their game that much more the second time over. Because so many times, especially from what we do, is you hear in comedy, it's like, they put on so and so because they know they're gonna get the audience feeling like this, as opposed to be like, all right, now I'm fucking really ready for it.
That's rowdy.
That's just the same. That's the same thing. So it's
Right,
refreshing.
I never really
she's
thought
like that.
and I never really had that problem, at least on a movie set or a TV show where someone said, "Oh, the guy's too funny."
Right.
But I am in a quandary. Like a lot of, I wish. I wish I could open up for a bigger act, and I think that maybe sometimes they put on someone that's a little less funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you doing the road a lot?
I don't do the road a lot at all. No, well, I mean, not to get too personal. Wife has a drinking problem, or did, and son had a drug problem, and this woodworking business pays equal. You know what I mean? I'm not famous enough to make real money on the road. I don't know about you guys, but. You know what I mean? I was getting $2,000, $2,500, in 2008, 2009 when that recession came.
Yeah.
And every single Saturday Night Live cast member of about 50 of them that we've never heard all went back to stand-up.
Right.
And their names sell tickets, and I kind of got pushed down a whole level.
Right.
And now it was like, do I want to sit in a hotel, Wednesday night through Monday morning? When I could for $1,600, which doesn't sound bad, but you got to pay your own airfare.
Right.
And while I'm gone, son gets in trouble, wife gets in trouble, and then this woodworking business pays as much, and I'm home in my own bed.
So you've been staying in L.A.
And the advantage is, at least I could try and get back on a TV show. You're in town.
Yeah. Right.
You tomorrow I have a pretty big audition for Brenda Lee. What is her name? Lee Daniels.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Butler.
Yeah. Right. That group tomorrow. And if I was on the road, somewhere, I'd miss it.
Yeah. So
you know which one I missed?
Which one?
This one hurt. Did you guys watch Entourage?
Yeah.
Remember when Dice was on it?
Yeah.
I was up for that role.
Oh, really?
And I was in New York doing a woodworking. I did a lot of woodworking shows. I'm a woodworker.
Yeah.
Have you ever pitched your own woodworking reality show? Because
I've had 3 of them.
Oh wow,
3 of them. I'm already old news in that genre. Trash to Cash with John de Resta was on FX.
Oh, no
Great
shit.
show. 7 episodes. 2 or 3 years went by. Hammered with John and Jimmy de Resta on HGTV. 26 episodes. That one paid well.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to check $15,000 a month.
Damn.
To do one of those reality shows.
Okay.
We did that lasted about 2 years. Then that one went away, and about 3 years later, we did one called. It was supposed to be called Lord of the Fleas, about the flea market and the hierarchy.
Yeah.
And Discovery changed it to Dirty Money, and it's about finding stuff in the street and reselling it to the actual people that threw it out, like in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, sure.
That got 10 episodes, big ratings, and they just never renewed us, and they never told us why. And then my brother was involved with a lot of them.
All 3 of them?
All 3.
Yeah.
Is he a woodworker too?
Oh, he's beyond. He's like a modern day Da Vinci.
Oh, wow.
He has almost 2 million followers on
shit.
YouTube,
Yeah.
and he gets sponsored.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Why don't you? Have you thought about doing your own YouTube channel? Or
I have. Here's the deal. I have one now. It has 5,000 followers.
Yeah.
My son was running it. We do not get along at all.
Still?
Yeah, I mean, we'll work together 5 hours today.
Yeah.
I'll give him $17 an hour.
Yeah.
And there's very little small talk.
Right. Is he better now? Is he cleaning up? Or
he's on methadone for the last year and a half.
That's fucking tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, he just goes in the morning, takes like a pill, and that's it. And he doesn't. When I was a cop and you went to a methadone clinic, everybody was like bouncing off the walls and they looked homeless.
Right.
I don't know why he hasn't weaned himself off that, but he's not using heroin. And he met a girl online, and he's kind of fallen in love.
Okay.
She's Filipino.
Okay.
And I mean, everyone knows they have a horizontal vagina. You know that, right?
Yeah.
East-west, all day long.
Everyone knows.
Right, of course.
So he used to handle all my kind of video, and I just don't have the savvy. Like, I do everything on this.
Right.
I don't even have a computer at home. Someone just gave me a laptop, and it doesn't work right.
Right, and that's hard to do, yeah.
It's just, and I'm always chasing the money. You know what I mean? As much stuff as I've done. I have a wife and 3 kids. I have a lot of bills. And, I never really have the time to, like I do Instagram, because it's easy.
Right.
It's a 1-minute video.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
well, that's what I'm thinking. Like Instagram, even Instagram, people make silly money on Instagram now. Even if you're doing stuff, you got a camera on yourself when you're making.
That's what I mean.
Table alone, and sponsorships.
And my brother's name again. You guys look up my brother after this. The name recognition is through the roof.
What's your brother's first name?
Jimmy de Resta.
Jimmy de Resta.
And we look and sound alike. I'm a year older.
Yeah.
So much so that. And he has a house in upstate New York that's 250 years old.
Oh,
it was built like right when the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Wow.
It has a room for runaway slaves. So he has a 10-bedroom house, 40 acres. He just built a barn, and they did the pitch of the barn really weird. Somehow, my brother showed up he's like, dude, what's with the roof?
Yeah.
So it looks like a church. So his new shop, he's considered the godfather of these makers.
Okay.
His gym, and we look so much alike. So the house is upstate. All the videos are upstate New York. And once a week, I'll be in Home Depot, and someone will walk up and go, "Oh my God, I don't believe it's you.
Oh, wow.
All I do is watch your videos. My wife hates you." And I just go, "I'm not him." And they go, "Oh shit, you're right. You're not. You're
the other one."
I was played up as the dumb brother. And
Okay.
all the TV shows we had that were on real TV,
Yeah.
I was like the dumb guy that got married and had 3 kids, and I was the ex-cop.
Right.
And he was the smart guy that dated young girls and lived in New York City, and he was a teacher at the School of Visual Arts for 20 years.
You should have him fuck up once on his YouTube channel and say, "So follow me on John de Resta."
Yeah, he pushes me as much as he can, and a lot of the fans know us, and a lot of the fans want us to get back together. We make a really funny team. You know, like when you do those dumb interviews?
Yeah.
Like, we're working, and they cut to us, and they go, and they ask, like, the little, like, unwritten comedy team we have is really, really done.
And where's that at? Where's that relationship at with your brother then?
Well, I could tell you outright, because I don't think my wife's going to listen to this, or my son. He wants me to leave my family and move in with him.
Because
he said you've done your time. You know, the drug and the drink problem. You did what you could.
Right. That's easier said than done.
It's easier said than done. But
what do you want?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I want to make a living as a stand-up comedian. As much as being a woodworker is fun, at the end of the day, when the Armenian lady goes, it doesn't look like the shade that I want. Why is like this? You said it was going to be soft yellow. It's not soft yellow. In other words, I make stuff all day long.
Right.
Like I'm making, do you guys know Magic?
Yeah.
You know they have 6 billion hits. Why you got to be so rude?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
not
the
the
Gathering.
Magic. Do you know that
the
group?
band? Yeah.
Do you know what? They have 6 billion hits with one song.
Yeah, I know that
I
song.
make that dude's furniture, the lead
really?
singer.
Okay.
And I'm making him a kitchen island right now that right now it weighs about 450 pounds. And it's in my shop. And we don't even know how we're going to get it to his house.
Right.
That's how big and heavy it is. Like it's not just little tables like I made for you for a couple of $100. Like some of these projects are thousands of dollars.
Right.
And his wife's in Germany right now, so I'm building it without her approval.
Ooh.
In other words, she could literally turn the corner
no.
and go, "I don't like the way it looks."
9.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit.
Were you like a construction guy first, or was like, because like I grew up in a family of carpenters, right? So everybody either is in a carpenters union in Pittsburgh, or was a carpenter at one point, or became like an engineer or an architect or something down the line.
That's a good question. I grew up in the 5 towns of Long Island. It's the first group of towns right after JFK Airport is in Queens.
Okay.
Like literally, we could walk to JFK.
There,
Well, when you flew over my mother's house.
Okay.
And I'm a flit. You guys know what a flit is?
I do not.
I thought you might have known because you might have gone to summer camp with some people from Long
I did
Island.
go to summer camp, but
We can curse, right?
Yeah.
It's a fucking Long Island douchebag.
oh,
Now, the king flit of all was Joey Buttafuoco.
Right.
Joey
25
Buttafuoco.
years he held the title. He got dethroned in 30 seconds by who? The bagel
The bagel guy.
Oh, right.
I knew it.
That's right.
The bagel guy is the new king flit.
Yeah.
And he's fucking Long Island douchebag.
He really is.
Now, watch this.
Yeah.
Well, you want to hear the top 5?
Yeah. Please.
You got-
Flit, but he's number 1.
He's
right
number
now.
1. Joey
Buttafuoco's
Buttafuoco's 2
Okay.
forever because
Okay.
he's so
Legend.
famous.
Right.
Alec Baldwin,
Number 3.
number 3, fucking flit.
Yeah.
Think about the way he treats
Really?
people.
Well, when he's beating up a few paparazzi,
And under his breath, he's like homophobic slurs. You know what I mean?
Right,
Still
okay.
at his age.
Right. Okay. So that's number 3. Who's 4?
Probably Dee Schneider from Twisted
Dee
Sister.
Snyder. Wow.
He's a
yeah,
flit.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
You know what I mean? If
it.
you encompass it all,
Yeah. All right.
Totally.
But who rounds out the list at 5?
it would be me, but I'm not famous.
But you put
Are
yourself
you a
in there.
flit?
I'm a complete flit. You know how I end my stand-up act? I do a thing now. A catchphrase in Long Island is "in my balls." I in my balls. Like this whole place is air conditioned except in here. In my balls.
Yeah.
I'm sweating like a homo eating a hot dog. You could bleep that out.
You can until we got to that point.
I'm a flit.
Yeah, that's where we're gonna.
I
go.
end my bit, so my son tries to run. So I set up in my balls. I said, and people be yelling it out.
Right. Because you get shit. Because that's. Let me stop you because I have a question for you too. Because even a line like that, right, where we just talked about Chappelle and the special that he had, right? Because comedy has changed tremendously in the 20 years that we've been doing
Of course.
Now, because people get very offended in general, because even because I know you're not homophobic, but even a joke like that, people could
Without
on
a
Twitter,
doubt.
Twitter come out and you go, oh, I can't believe he said that. And for us, how'd you let him say that? And it's like you can't tell people, comedians, if you're going to go for a joke. Now we don't have to like the joke, but you're allowed to say the joke as comics.
Watch,
That's
but
the
if
thing.
you even laughed at it, you're guilty.
Right.
I know
You
it's
think
crazy.
The same thing on stage as at a podcast?
It depends on who you are. I mean, because the difference is this.
If you're a comedian.
Because the difference is he's talking about his act. He's talking about this is what he says on stage. And when he says it, like, there's some people that are going to go, oh, no, that's because, look, even the funny thing is, though, you go back with Dice. Because Dice the shift happened with Dice. Because when Dice came out in, like, 80, when he blew up in, like, 87, 80, we did Dangerfield's, that special, that he was saying stuff that people were laughing at. And then it was Nora Dunn and all these people in like 90. That was like,
don't want to work with
this
him.
ain't cool. We don't like this. He's like, it's a character. It's a tough. And then he was out. He was banned from MTV. He was banned from everybody. He went from being the guy selling out to the Garden to fucked because of that shift. And I think that it's been a whole, I don't know, it's been a change. What, you were going to say something, Rox?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, she had said, here's what I've, in a comedy club, and I thought it would never affect me. And I do a couple of jokes about, Caitlyn Jenner, dumb stuff. Like a lot of comedians bag on her. I think she's hot.
Right.
She has sexy lunch lady hair. She has brand new tits. size 14 feet. And if I have a good audience, you know, her vagina is brand new.
Right.
It's fucking low mileage coochie.
Right.
That's the definition of new pussy.
he just howled in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm saying, even if I bring up the name Caitlyn,
Right, people shut down a little bit.
no,
Right?
someone will, like, in the last couple of months, someone will yell, "It's none of your business."
Right.
And now watch this. The audience expects me to put her away like as a wise ass New York flid comedian, but there's no reason to. She's just giving her opinion.
Right.
In other words, it's not a legit heckle. It's more of a showstopper. I've gone through like 3 of them to where now I just kind of go, "Hey, don't worry about it. It's my show." Like where I was like, okay, you don't want me to make fun of
right.
transgenders and you got me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I do a joke that here's my wife's name, Fran.
Yeah.
But I left a little space for letter K in case I switch teams. Or she transitions.
Right.
And just by doing that, usually people laugh. Or like if I do like a Hollywood, like, you know, like all young comedians that bring all their young friends.
Yeah.
Just by going, or she transitions, they go dead silent.
Right. Yeah. It's
Because they don't know whether to laugh.
Well, they, you know, with my New York accent, the next joke they think is going to be some, you know, horrible,
something even worse. Yeah.
You know that, you know, like that that Caitlyn went to see the Russian doctor. Doctor, cut your cock off.
Right. Yeah. That's my point. My point is that from what we were talking about before is that in a club, and I think your question that you asked is a great question, but on the podcast, because there's some people who are watching here today are going, well, I wasn't expecting that. When you go to a comedy club, you're expecting.
I said to someone yesterday, because they asked me a lot, I said, when you go to a comedy club, you expect unusual language. That's what you pay for.
Right.
Unusual, to hear things that you didn't hear from the schmuck next to you at a cubicle.
Right. You're their vessel to say the things they may want to say or heard their friends say or maybe or won't say, but they just want to listen to.
It's crazy how like they're shutting people down and putting them out of work or whatever it is. It's really, really not. It's
different comedy world.
Bill Burr said it's like and again, these guys are out every night in front of thousands of people. And the more people you're in front of, the more people are in the audience to yell, "Hey, you can't do that," or "You can't say that," whether they're on purpose or not.
Right.
And Bill Burr said lately it's like, you ever see on Hoarders how you have to walk sideways through someone's house?
Yeah.
You know, Hoarders, they have all
I know,
stuff.
sure,
But you got to walk sideways. He said that's what it's like now to be a comedian.
I know, it's crazy. Sarah Silverman had a whole big thing about it too. It's just like it's a very different.
Like she just lost a movie gig because she had.
Well, she had done something. I think she had done blackface, and she was she apologized for it.
But if you saw it, she was doing it to make fun of the.
She was making fun. She still. It's in general. She said she shouldn't have done it. She came out and had a whole big thing about it while she did her show, and that was like 2002 or something. Maybe even I don't whenever it was, a long time ago. But she lost a movie gig recently because people went back, took that out again after she had apologized and done stuff and used it against her to, you know, and she just talked about how that this culture is like that on social media.
There's a photo of me when I first met my wife. We went to a Halloween party, and now my brother Jimmy was a prop guy because he has 22 patents in the toy business. Yeah. He's really smart. But every day, every Halloween in Long Island, there was a line down my mother's driveway, down into the basement, a line of young dirtbag white trash kids, and my brother would make the sword, the shield, all in my dad's workshop, to answer your question.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
And so Jimmy was really good. So one Halloween when I first met my wife, I was a cop then. If they ever found this photo, I would never, ever get another job.
Are you going to tell it now?
I went as a black guy to a Halloween party.
Oh, okay.
But my brother made hair that went up like this out of styrofoam. I had the gold chains. I had the suit. And it wasn't just here. It was everywhere.
Right.
I went into the local bar in Long Island, and they were like, "Hey, guy, hey, how you doing? Hey."
Right.
It wasn't just blackface. I looked like a black guy.
Right.
But I had no malicious intent.
Right. You're just right. But we know you just can't do that, like out in the public and in general too, because when you do it, a lot of people. Go ahead, Roxy.
Would you do that today? Is that
no, not at all. Not at all. I'm just saying.
You did it.
I did it. It's just, you know.
How old were you at the time?
I was,
16,
40.
Oh.
No. No, I was a cop at the time, I
Right.
think. I was 21, 22.
Okay.
So to answer your question real quick, my dad was a local fix-it guy in Long Island, and we grew up in a rich neighborhood, a Jewish neighborhood, but we were the only white trash on the block. My dad was a New York City fireman, and he was the local handyman.
Gotcha.
So I was with him on a Saturday afternoon fixing someone's basement, but it was the girl that I liked from high school, and I felt like a monkey. You know what I mean? We were the Mexicans. But my dad had a workshop, so we always knew how to build stuff, right? But more like craft items, not like carpentry, build a house.
Yeah.
And I was about 27 years old, maybe 25. I was a New York City cop. I had 3 infants in a row, 1, 2, 3, 11 months apart. I don't know what I was thinking.
Irish twins.
You had three
in a row.
infants that were 11 months apart, all 3 from
All
each other.
3.
So all different baby mamas?
No, same wife. I'm married 30 years.
But
no, I'm saying she had a baby and then she got pregnant. She had another baby, got pregnant, another baby. Like in 3 years, she had 3 kids.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
Her coochie was like a midget clown car.
Look at Ross.
Processing.
I was waiting for
The
Ross.
last one fell out.
Yeah.
Okay, so I move. We go from Long Island because her family's telling me how to raise the kids. My dad's telling me everyone's all. So we move upstate New York. If you guys know anything about New York, we move 50 miles north of Manhattan.
Right.
As a cop, I transferred to the Bronx. We moved 50 miles north, and we moved to the grounds, this is crazy, of an insane asylum that was closed down and then now rented out. And we moved into the, it was called Falkirk Estates, and we moved into the groundskeeper's house. So we had this cool house, and outside there was chickens and horses and farms. It was $1,000 a month. And right across from the little creek, we had no neighbors. It was really cool. It was like we were like millionaires for $1,000 a month. Was a garage. And the first week I lived there, I saw a van pull up, leave. I said, this guy's got to be growing marijuana. And I went over. It was just a walk. It was just a walk, over this little creek. Opened the door, and there was thousands and thousands of old rustic planks. And there was one guy building rustic furniture. His name was Pete. And I said, hey, I'm kind of handy. He said, I'll teach you how to make these rustic tables. The door is always unlocked. I'll give you $10 an hour. Anytime you're not a cop or a comedian or taking care of those 3 kids, you come over here and I'll show you how to build them. And that's how I learned how to build rustic furniture.
So John, and you can be found on Instagram.
Yeah, at John de Resta.
And Twitter also?
I'm on.
Instagram.
How much can I do?
So Instagram. What about a website? Got a website that you can...
Well, we have De Resta West Coast.
Okay.
De Resta West Coast on Facebook. There's mostly photos.
So Instagram, though, is where they can find you.
Yeah, Instagram I'm on every day.
And what about comedy? When you going up again?
My next gig is in January of 2021.
Perfect. All right, John de Resta, ladies and gentlemen, joining us here today. Go check out John.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, that furniture it's amazing what he's doing out there, too. Very funny guy. Thank you so much,
Yeah, thank
John
you guys
de Resta.
for having me.
All right, after the break, we will be right back. We are going to talk about some of these news stories, and we got the Joker stuff. Got to figure out what the hell's going on. Talk about controversy. Man, they get an 8-minute standing ovation. We'll talk about it after the break.
Did you see the trailer?
Hey guys, it's Perry here to let you know that Movie Talk is moving. We've had a great time in this 3 p.m. Pacific slot, but guess what? We want you to start your day with Collider Movie Talk, so we're moving. 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get a longer show with some brand new segments, so tune in starting Monday, September 16th, 9 a.m. Pacific. See you there.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Sports Time. Well, if you've been watching us every week, we break down the latest and the greatest in the world of sports, talk about the big issues, the big games, all of it with a rotating band of guests like Matt Nose and Josh McCouga. We've had Taylor Bisciotti on. We've had so many great guests. Now, if you want to see more of Sports Time or you want to try it out for the first time, remember to subscribe to Collider Sports YouTube channel for all the sports goodness.
Hey guys, it's Riley here. Let me tell you about the Riley Roundtable. You know it, right? It drops every Thursday on Collider Conversations, and I have guests from all across the space. John Roca, Gray Drake, Alexander Desplat came on at one point. We talk everything from movies, we talk about life, and everything in between. What do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? It's the Riley Roundtable every Thursday on Collider Conversations. You get it there.
Hi, I'm Coy Jandro, host of Collider Heroes, and I'm here to tell you we've got 20-minute episodes coming at you on Collider Video, on the YouTube, as you've always loved it. Plus, now we've got hour-long podcasts dropping every Thursday, so make sure to subscribe to the podcast because it's going to get even more sweaty on the podcast. Plus, every week, we're going to try to get some very special guest interviews, all of the people that help shape these movies and TV shows you love. So, video, podcast, interviews, all coming at you. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. Stay sweaty.
Well, hello there. I'm Ken Napzok, one of the hosts of Collider Jedi Council, and I'd like to invite you to listen to our show, watch our show. It's on every Thursdays on the Collider Video channel, and it's also available in podcast form if you'd like to listen to our sweet voices on Collider Jedi Council, me, Christian Harloff, and a bevy of guests, I say, talk Star Wars. We celebrate Star Wars. We dig into the Star Wars news. We speculate everything about Star Wars, including your questions. So join us on Collider Jedi Council. You're going to have a great time.
What's up, Collider fans? Ryan Satin here from ProWrestlingSheet.com, where you can find the top stories throughout the week in the world of professional wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan like myself, then you'd be doing yourself a disservice by not checking out all the shows we do every week on YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. In particular, on Wednesdays, we've got a SmackDown recap show hosted by John Roca and myself, where we pick apart and talk about every little thing that happened on the Blue Brand. So do yourself a favor and go subscribe at youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet.
Hey guys, Riley here, and let me tell you about Rule of Two. You looking for a Star Wars fix? Well, Rule of Two is that show. It drops on Collider Video's main YouTube channel, as well as on Podcast One's Jedi Council feed. So go over there, subscribe, share it with your friends. It's hosted by myself and Mark Fernandez. We talk everything in the Star Wars universe with a lot of deep dives and a lot of conversations that go all in. You know what to do. Subscribe, join us there, and rise.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Mailbag. A new episode drops every Saturday and Sunday in your face and in your ears, answering the questions from you fans about the world of entertainment, film, and television. Me and great guests from our sphere do the best to answer your questions from Twitter, from Instagram, and of course, email as well, every Saturday and Sunday.
Hello, how are you guys doing? I'm Christian Harloff. I'm the host of Collider Jedi Council. We talk about everything Star Wars. It's movie news, it's canon, it's all of it. We take questions from you guys. How do you do it? Main channel, that's right here. Subscribe to this channel. But if you want to just listen to it, you got the podcast feed too. Apple Podcasts, you can listen to it in your car. Do all of it. It's Star Wars. Episode 9's coming out. And then after Episode 9, you got TV shows. So we're going to be your sports center for Star Wars. Do it. Come on. Be real.
Hi, I'm Amy Dallin, one of the hosts of Collider Heroes, and starting right now, you can catch our show Tuesday nights with a new Collider Heroes and a longer Collider Heroes podcast where Coy and I are gonna talk your ears off. You already know that's coming. So make sure to go to YouTube, subscribe, and find us on the Collider Heroes podcast feed for all of that sweaty goodness.
The Witching Hour is all over Collider right now. You can listen to that horror-filled podcast with myself, with Haley Fouch. We talk about witchiness, we talk about slashers, we talk about space horror, you name it, all on that show on the Collider Factory feed. And on top of that, you can find an article all about Witching Hour every single Tuesday on Collider.com. Check it out, get scared. Hopefully you survive the Witching Hour.
And we are back here on Collider Live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to John de Resta. I told you, no filter on de Resta.
Yeah.
Some of the things he said, I was like, oh no, don't say that.
Yeah.
But you know, he's like I said. What'd you think about him, Rox?
I thought he was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
No, I think he's fine. I think to me the most offensive thing that he said was that he might leave his wife and kids. So
That's a solid point.
He didn't say he might. He said he said that his brother wanted him to.
But like,
I love how honest he was.
I think he's a jokester, and he that it doesn't affect where his heart is.
Right.
I do feel bad that she's not going to tune into that.
Yeah.
And bummer.
Yeah. All right. So, Roxy and I got into a big fight last night.
No, that's not what happened.
We got into a huge fight, like biggest fight we've ever had. I
It
wasn't
definitely
there,
was the biggest fight we ever had.
But I wasn't there.
No, you were not there.
What happened? You had a dream.
So I guess in my dream you were my landlord.
Oh.
And
Well, then I would understand that.
in my dream you were my landlord.
Did I tell you to put the garbage past the car?
No, and you were also the same Christian to me. So all the other things were still the same, but you were also my landlord. And so you took me to New York for the Schmodown, and you rented out my apartment without telling me.
Ooh,
and
my right to do, I guess.
And we're making money off of my apartment. And I came back and I was like,
good business.
Why do my sheets smell like BO? My stuff's misplaced. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And somebody left me a note that was like, just so you know, I was here or whatever.
Oh,
and
that's creepy.
And I reached out to you and you were like, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
Didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, Christian, like, of all the things, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me.
That?
And you were like, don't know what you're talking about. And I lost it.
You lost it.
I lost it. And then I woke up.
So listen, most of the things when we argue about for real, I always take my side.
You take my side.
I'm going to take your side.
Thank you so much. I woke up, you know, when you have that feeling, you're like, oh my God, I'm so mad at him.
Yeah, but I feel like you left out a lot of the details.
Don't
you?
What do you mean?
In this story.
No.
I think that you did some stuff.
I did?
I think there's probably something that
I
you did
usually
also.
don't do much stuff in my dreams.
It's true.
Things happen to me.
Okay.
I only nightmare, really.
And before we move on to both the It Chapter 2 and Joker stuff here, I don't know what episode it was, but we had an amazing song come through these airwaves. And
I think it was Wednesday.
The best show.
Do you guys know who the caller was? Because I don't know.
Doesn't matter. But we had Conja Club. Conja Club made a video. We can't play it because it's got Simpsons footage in it. At least I don't think. I just want to be safe.
Yeah.
Go and watch it if you're not subscribed. It's the episode where Homer has like the auto dialing.
It's one of the best episodes.
It's so good. So the auto dial comes in and Flanders picks up, and on the other side, Mr. Burns,
ahoy hoy.
It was so good.
It's so good. It's show on the YouTube. It's really funny. Oh, I forgot about Riley.
When he put that one in for when the auto dialer starts calling Homer, I lost it.
It's really brilliant.
I feel like we have not tapped the full potential of the song yet, though.
No, I know. We got to hear it. All right. Let's talk about It Chapter 2.
Okay.
So It Chapter 2, we saw...
Non-spoiler.
Non-spoiler. So the overall
this is
movie...
where my head goes.
2 hours and 45 minutes or whatever it is, too. I will say that I enjoyed I liked the movie. I didn't love it the way I loved the first one. I really loved the first movie. The second one, I thought the chemistry was great. I thought Bill Hader knocked it out of the park. That he was really fantastic. And I thought Pennywise, once again, pretty good. Really great. And then there was just things that I felt that it didn't need to be 2:45. I think that there could have, I was engaged the whole time and I was watching it the whole time, but I was like, it could have easily been 2:20. And I didn't, and I know it's the way it is in the book. Don't love the ending.
Yeah.
Don't love the ending and all. I think the ending, it's kind of
thing.
I think it goes against everything the movie's about. And I don't want to spoil it, but there's this, for what the entire movie is all about, they essentially have to do in order to win. But they have but the chemistry of I think the casting of this was so good and so fitting to what the child actors were. And then the flashbacks they do show the child actors, I thought was the best stuff. I thought the child acting, again, was really phenomenal. But Roxy, what's your overall take on it?
I kind of feel the same way, Christian. I thought it was good, not great. Not close to as good as the first one. Not as scary. Josh, I honestly don't. Maybe you, because but
him.
It was not scary. It was not a scary movie for me.
I think it's very scary.
My
you
biggest
saying that, and then Perry and Mark Riley saying you're gonna have trouble with this one.
Yeah.
My biggest qualms with the movie.
You don't know me at all, Roxy.
I think you had problems with Dark Crystal.
Yeah. My biggest qualms with the movie were the things from the book, because I don't like, it was in the book as the reason it works. If it doesn't work in the movie, it doesn't work.
Right. It's the same thing you have with comics and stuff.
Yeah. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And it's my same problem with DC and Marvel stuff too. When people are like, "Well, exactly," when it pulls from the comic books, the exact same thing. If it doesn't work when I'm watching it as a standalone piece, it can be enhanced by my reading of the book or enhanced by my comic reading, but I don't want that to be the thing. And there's two major situations that take place that I feel like are never addressed or touched upon again.
Yeah.
And I think that that's not right.
Yeah.
We did not, and I'm okay not putting a bow on everything, but I feel like it lacked a point of view on those situations, and we never came back to them. And therefore, I was like, why did we need to show these extreme situations that we just let let go.
Riley?
So.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of your stuff. It worked a lot better for me. I don't know if that's my bias for loving the book as much as I do because I saw the similarities, but I get it. For the movie, you have to rely on the movie and whether or not it plays to the audience. But I like that. I do think it's a lot scarier than the first one.
That shocks me.
Yeah, for Pennywise, though, I was, it worked so well for me that I thought of Josh. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, it's gonna be tough. The thing that didn't work for me, which I'm surprised you said, was I think they would have gotten rid of 40 minutes if we didn't do some of those flashbacks.
Oh, okay. You didn't like the flashbacks.
I think because I wanted because that was trying to recreate it Chapter 1, which is still by far I think a much better movie, my favorite as well. I wanted more with the adults, like it did for the book, and so what I thought they were doing with that, I could have gotten rid of, but that's just me.
How did they do it? Does anybody know?
What's so funny is that it went over my head because I thought they filmed a lot of the stuff.
It was
already,
the de-aging
but I guess
stuff,
they
right?
de-aged,
yeah.
Because it looked amazing.
It looked really good. It was some of the best de-agings I didn't even know until they told me the next day. I was like, wait, I thought they just shot all this footage because I knew they were doing Chapter 2. But yeah, it is. I think that we're all again same page. I think we all agree that Andy Muschietti is a brilliant director.
Yeah, he's really good. I'm so excited for him to be working on Flash, even though these are two completely different genres.
Yeah.
I think he's a really capable, competent director.
He's a really good director. You can tell he's an actor's director, and his cast listens to him. Even when we had when we were talking to give me the villain's name.
Pennywise.
Not Pennywise.
Oh, Teach Grant.
Thank you. When we had Teach in here, and he was talking about how that Muschietti is just such an actor's director, and what he's done, and the way that he sees his vision. There were some amazing shots and amazing vision, and there was some very creepy stuff. I agree with Roxy that I think that the first one was a scarier film. I think there's a lot more. There's a lot of creepy images and a lot of creepy things that happen in this, but there are things that I agree with you. They're just like, well, wait a minute. This thing happened. They don't ever touch on it again. They don't ever show me how that affected anybody. But but then I wound up washing that away when I saw them all together, working together. So like I said, I think it's a good movie. It's just not great, where Chapter 1 is great.
And I'm with you on the ending too, Christian. It was a little campy, mushy for me.
Yeah.
It didn't fit the rest of the tone, and I was like, huh.
Yeah, the miniseries was like that too. First chapter was
better.
Way better.
It didn't destroy the movie for me, but I was just like, wow, I think you could have gone in a couple of different, stronger directions for this.
Wow. See, yeah, and it might be the book for me. But I mean, they did it, and I was like, wow, they did it. And I got it, and I loved it, and but I still think, Chapter 1 is a better one.
Well, there you go. So that's our review of It Chapter 2. If you're watching right now and you're going to have a chance to see it, did that affect anything whatsoever? Or if you found this after you saw the movie, or we clip this out. And thank you for joining us here on Collider Live. If you just found us randomly, go ahead and watch the full show where we talk about a whole many things. I know it's great many things. Take it easy, Star Wars fans.
I bet they don't cut that part out.
Yeah.
I didn't even know from the quote, but I did know from your voice. It's like, Star Wars.
Great many things. Right. Now, let's talk about Joker. So there's so much going on with this movie. Riley, what? I got 8 minutes standing ovation?
Got 8 minutes standing.
It really is. It's as much time as I did in New York.
You know, 8 minutes standing ovation at its Venice premiere. So it premiered at the Venice Film Festival. 8 minute.
Can I ask? I'm just gonna. So they start standing up and clapping. Then does Todd Phillips come out and take a bow? So they keep clapping.
Who starts timing it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, I would guess that's about 8 minutes. 8 minutes is a long.
And when do you start timing from the first person that stands or the last person that stands?
Correct.
Also,
who's getting the exact?
My hands hurt when I clap for more than a minute.
Yeah. But here's what I'm saying: does Todd Phillips come out? He take a bow. Then Joaquin Phoenix takes a bow, and then the best boy comes out, and then the grip, and they just keep going until
I think it's because it's a thing now, to let if the audience knows it, they're like, oh, we're gonna stand. But do they talk beforehand the whole audience and say, hey, you know what?
Just keep going until we're done.
It's become a thing. It's become a thing at these film festivals. How long is your standing ovation?
Right.
So yeah. I guess so.
Well, back in May of May 21st, Once Upon a Time gets a 7-minute standing ovation at the Cannes premiere.
So what's the record?
That's why I've started
Maybe
to do it.
Maybe they're trying to one up the record.
A number of people did hit us up on Twitter saying, didn't this movie get a standing ovation at 6 minutes? Didn't this movie get 7 minutes?
So eight's good.
I mean, listen, I saw Bruce Springsteen play for 4 hours straight, and I don't think the crowd in Pittsburgh stood for 8 minutes to clap, and that was after an encore.
Well, I mean, but it's not. It's also not a thing at the concert. It's like this is like a thing. Where it's like it's a show. Like this is what we thought of it. So it looks like it gets me excited.
Yes,
it gets me excited.
Well, we have somebody that is currently tied. Clerks 2 gets an 8-minute standing ovation at Cannes.
All right,
and that was back in May 26th.
That's got to be an Onion article, right?
No,
it's not.
Well, I mean, all right. So that's just part of the story. There's so much going on with Joker. There's other things that people are tweeting about.
Yeah, there've been crazy tweets, and people in the office. I believe I saw. Was it Dorian and
Frosty?
Did they like it?
Yeah. They've seen it?
Yeah,
I guess so.
They liked it.
I guess so. They did. They put out a review because when these movies are festival movies, there's no embargoes on
So what do
them.
they say about the movie?
They liked it. I haven't seen their. It's their video review.
Is Dorian there right now?
Yeah,
he might be.
Why don't we grab him?
Can we grab Dorian if possible?
Yeah,
Let's get Dorian.
hold on one second.
Are we just waiting?
Hey, Dorian!
we're just gonna need a mic for him. That's the thing.
What Frosty wrote up on .com was glowing. He loved it. Yeah.
And it's got because I know Dorian had just watched King of Comedy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, because he hasn't seen any movies.
He doesn't want to come in.
Tell him we're going to talk about Joker.
We're talking about Joker.
Oh my God.
Dorian.
Is it because of the air conditioning debacle?
No.
Yeah.
No, he's a shy kid, I guess.
I don't know.
Shy kid. He had his mom.
Okay.
So Joker, guys. Joker.
Yeah. Joker.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen?
Well, I have reactions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of reactions
where
on .com. Steve Weintraub, I now understand why WB Pictures decided to play the Joker movie in Venice. Joker is a great movie. It just so happens to be a comic book movie and will absolutely get nominated for an Oscar, and the film has a real chance at the end of the year award.
And who said that? I'm sorry?
That's Frosty.
Okay.
Rob Keyes, I saw a Joker movie and really dug it. It features... it's a feature that steals your attention and requires time to process. It's an acting showcase for Joaquin Phoenix in the story that's ambiguous and surprising, but one that really grounds Arthur Fleck's transformation.
Dorian's in the booth.
Oh, he's in the booth?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey,
For us?
Is Dorian not in the booth?
No.
Oh.
Who said that?
Who said he was in the booth?
He said he was going to the booth.
Nah, damn it. Hold on.
What?
He just walked by the door.
Hold on. Let me get him.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, so keyboard
Hold.
Rob Keyes.
Eric Davis, over
yeah.
at Finding.
Okay.
Joker is bold, bodacious, love letter to Scorsese's The King of Comedy,
Love it.
told through the lens of DC's most iconic villain. Dark, disturbing, brutal, and sad. It's about an absurd man who doesn't start living until he's dead inside. Joaquin Phoenix is so damn good. That's a damn good one. Alex Billington, there will be before Joker and there will be after Joker. I don't know if the world is ready for this movie, or maybe it is. It is gnarly. It is crazy. It is audacious. It doesn't hold back. Wow, I can't believe it exists, but it does, and it's coming.
That's my favorite review so far.
Hey, guys, we got Dorian in
Hey,
here.
Dorian here.
Dorian,
I have his tweet.
What's going on?
What up? What up?
Nothing. Why were you afraid to come on the show?
Why were you afraid to come
He said you didn't want.
I'm afraid to come on the show. Like, other people got other stuff to do. I'm working. I'm trying to
Well,
watch
this-
this review and live tweet you guys because Alex isn't here. So, I'm doing a lot of things at once.
All right, cool. We figured part of that work would be talking about a movie that you saw would be Joker. Did you enjoy the movie?
Oh, yeah. I fucking loved it.
Okay.
Loved it.
So tell me about it. So what's the with not spoiling it, but because you had just watched King of Comedy.
Yeah, I watched King of Comedy, I watched Taxi Driver, and I watched Batman '89.
And did
Love
you-
those movies? Martin Scorsese changed my life.
Did you see a lot of the Did you see a lot of the similarities of those movies inside of this one?
Yeah, for sure. For definitely with King of Comedy, there was a lot of I felt like there were a lot of nods to that movie in particular, especially with how they flipped Joker's trying to be an aspiring comedian, and then my boy De Niro, now he's playing the part of Jerry Rupert, I believe.
Right. Yeah, they switched it up. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you say?
I said they switched it up.
Yeah, they switching it up. So basically, but I thought just the cinematography of it, amazing. His character, you're fully invested in him from the beginning frame. As soon as the movie started, I was like, all right, captivated. I'm locked in. What's going on? And then by the end of it, I was just sitting there just not just I was trying to process everything I just saw because it was just a lot to take in. It's a really deep character study on this character of Arthur Fleck, and I can see how it can be controversial to some people, but I personally thought it was a fantastic movie from start to finish. One of DC's best movies thus far, probably my favorite.
People are nervous that they're giving an origin story to the Joker and what that will mean for everybody's opinion on the character in the future. Do you feel like this film handled that well, Dorian?
No, I definitely think it does because it kind of sets up it's not really, I wouldn't say an origin story for the Joker himself. It's what if the Joker is like inspiring other people kind of thing. Like there's not necessarily saying like, I don't know how to say it without like necessarily spoiling it, but that's kind of how it feels. And I know some people are like complaining like, oh, why are we trying to make this character empathetic? Why are we trying to like give him an origin story? And I kind of just say like, look how what they did to Killmonger or Thanos in the MCU. Like they still made those characters empathetic while you like they're still the villains, but you're not like rooting for them in real life or anything.
How was Mark Maron?
Who?
Mark Maron.
He was in it for just a tad bit. Like I would say all the supporting cast don't really get a lot of screen time. Like it's solely focused on the Joker himself. Like I would say Zazie Beetz gets the most screen time, about like 5 or 6 minutes. And then his mom gets about the most screen time out of all the supporting characters, but nobody else.
Zazzie's in it for about 5 or 6 minutes.
Like all the supporting cast is literally in it for that
about
long.
him.
It's like it's besides Arthur himself, like he's in every frame, but the supporting cast is not really in it that much. It's like solely about him.
It's a character study.
Well, it sounds like a total Scorsese kind of thing where you're following Taxi Driver or that type of thing. Do you think that Joaquin Phoenix will and should be nominated for an Academy Award because of this role?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think he'll get nominated for sure for his performance, and not just from not just like what he did mentally, but I don't know if you saw the trailers, like how much weight he lost and how he's like trying to like portray himself like physically wise throughout the movie. It's just something like mesmerizing. I thought he fully committed to the role.
Do you think that Todd Phillips will be nominated for this?
Directing, yeah.
Oh, I think so. I'm for Best Picture, Roxy.
For director, Best Director, and will the movie be nominated for Best Picture?
I think he definitely deserves to get a nomination for that. I'm not sure if he'll win. I don't know. Like we have the rest of the year coming out for movies, but for so far, I think he definitely needs to be in the talks for nominating for Best Picture.
So if you had a choice, you can only watch one for the rest of your life, Joker or Endgame, what would you take?
Bro, you can't do that to me. Like that's 22 movies versus this.
I know what I'm doing. I would do the same thing to myself too when it's like Dark Knight or Endgame, right? Because that's only 3 movies.
What about Joker or Dark Knight?
Ooh.
Well, I haven't seen Joker, so I'm saying for myself.
Yeah, but for
him. But because it's this year. It's a different, trying to throw out 2 movies that were out there this year.
I think I'd say The Dark Knight still.
Dark Knight over.
What about like the Joker versus, say, a Taxi Driver or Mean Streets or what? I don't know what what Scorsese movies you love, but I'm saying like
King of Comedy.
Yeah, King of Comedy. Would you
I'm
take?
still like going through my list of Scorsese movies. I just watched Goodfellas a couple days ago.
Oh, did you finish?
Movie. So what?
You finished?
Oh yeah, I finished.
Do you
I
guys,
loved it.
Are you guys continuing to bring up Scorsese because tonally?
Totally, but he just said he's just been introduced to Scorsese, so
so he's not looking. So have you watched Casino or Cape Fear? Are they in your list?
No, Casino is the next movie.
Yeah, oh, man.
I love Cape Fear so
much.
much.
Well, Dorian Parks checked out the movie, and thank you, Dorian, for
our full review is on the Collider video channel. Thankfully, it's
nice,
up and running. Make sure to go check it out.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, so there you go. Thanks again, Dorian.
Thanks, Dorian. Sorry to pull you away from your work.
Yeah. So we have that. We have that review on Collider. We also have that on this channel now too. So it's kind of like a Collider. We would even call that the Joker review. Yeah. So we have that. So make sure once again if you're finding us from this piece out.
When are you going?
To see the movie?
Yeah.
I don't know. Haven't you gotten the screener?
It's a month away, right?
I don't know.
I think it's a little bit.
Okay, sorry. I'll let you finish the plug.
Rambo will probably come out first. A couple of different plugs.
The publicist from Rambo just emailed me and said, and before you ask, can I come too? Of course you can. I watch Collider Live every day,
awesome.
Which is awesome.
Good. I haven't got an invite yet from that publicist.
They know that.
We have an email.
Yeah.
We have an email.
Yeah.
I can't
Can
wait.
I be? I've already asked to be your plus
She
one.
named you and you by name.
And so will she also be trying to get us still on the show?
I think is it a he?
I think it's he. Yeah. And,
okay.
You know
Yes.
And there's something that we can talk about.
Okay, great. Yeah. I think that's really all we have time to talk about, right? We don't have anything else, any big news that we should talk beforehand?
Yeah, I mean,
we'll hit it tomorrow.
We can hit stuff tomorrow.
All right, so guys,
I love hitting stuff tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for John de Resta coming in, for Dorian, for doing the review. Make sure you go to the schmodownlive.com. Orlando, we announced the main event. Founding Fathers, Dan Murrell cashed in his shot with his partner John Roker. They're going to be taking on Corruption for the team titles. Mike Kalinowski and Chance. That happens in Orlando. This man will be in Arizona in 2 weeks. Late to the party, we'll be playing the Wildberries, Arizona, September 14th. Main event, Bibiani versus Chance Ellison in the singles tournament, the schmodownlive.com.
Let's give away those tickets to Arizona Thursday.
We'll give them Thursday. All right, we're going to give away tickets, VIP tickets on Thursday. We have a whole bunch of tickets to give away to the show. Listen, thank you to Christian Rubalcaba in the booth. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Orlando.